Okay, and we should be live. Let me just double check and make sure everything is all ready. And I'm not gonna lie, I did something that I've been scared of doing for a long time, like worried about whenever I go live. I actually hit the start recording button, and then I just sat here yapping to myself for a good like 3 or 4 minutes before I realized, oh my gosh, I'm not streaming, I'm just recording. Look at me go, I'm so smart, oh my gosh. So, that was a fun thing to do. That was a fun little realization I had, because, like, every single time I boot up stream, I'm like, okay, don't hit start recording, don't hit start recording. And then every single time I go to record something, I go, don't hit start streaming, don't hit start streaming. And over, like, a year in, I haven't done it a single time. I haven't messed up at all in that situation until today. It finally happened, but it was bound to happen sooner or later. It wasn't the biggest deal. Unlike most mistakes I make, I realized it like really fast, so we got it taken care of, and that's all that matters. Anyways, everything's looking good here. Just pulling up the stream, making sure everything's looking good. And then I'm just gonna tweet this out, but I don't have too much time today, so there's not gonna be too much preamble before we just jump on into it, because like we talked about last time, this one is a little bit longer than, say, like Which You Want or Yuri Paddle, so we do need to jump into it, because I have, like, a work dinner thing going on tonight. When I made plans to stream this today, I kind of forgot about that. It's one of those things that's, like, it's been brought up to me many of times, and then I just simply kept forgetting. I just simply kept forgetting that I had it, so I talked about, like, oh yeah, on, like, Saturday we're gonna do On Wings Bring Sleep, and then on Sunday we're gonna do Heart of the Woods. And then yesterday I was reminded by my boss, hey, remember this thing? And I'm like, oh, you're so right. So yeah, we're going to get into this and try. We don't have to like rush or anything. It's just, again, like the preamble part's just going to have to be a little bit shorter than usual, even though we usually don't go on for too long, usually only like 10-ish minutes anyways. So just a little bit shorter than usual. Also, things gets formatted so weirdly when I switch between like doing post on X and over on Blue Sky. Also, Blue Sky is so, I don't know, it just feels so nice. It feels so like so much more fun than being on Twitter, because like on Twitter it's a lot like my For You page on TikTok, where I've like built it brick by brick of all these being positive things that I want to see, and then ever since like a few months ago, it's been slowly just creeping in of like, here's just garbage that you don't want on your timeline and I never want to see. Especially if you ever like go to like your search page and you're like looking through like all the For You stuff, and it's just a bunch of tweets that are either politics or Elon Musk, and I'm like, I've literally never looked at anything like that on Twitter. Where's all of the cool art that I like to look at? Where's like all the fighting game community stuff that I like to look at? Where's like the anything that I like to look at? It's just not there anymore on my For You page, and I hate it. I hate it so much. I don't like it. But also, so today the main thing that I've done today is I tried to do some Pokemon Going. I know that's not the most popular thing to do anymore. Pokemon Go's kind of fallen off a little bit. Like, it's still like big, but there's just, there's just like other stuff to play that's not Pokemon Go. But I like it because it's like something to do while you're out walking, and I don't walk as much as I used to just because I can't. But when I am out, I still like to do some Pokemon Going. And there was a huge event today with a bunch of legendaries coming back in raids, and I felt so gypped because I think Pokemon Go sucks so much at like letting people know when events and stuff are like happening. Like, I feel like with every other game, it's like you get into the game, here's like 5 seconds of being on a page, it tells you like what's happening, what's coming up, when everything is, and then you're good. With Pokemon Go, I feel like I have to like look for information on anything, so I didn't know that was happening today until after an hour everything started. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll go for like a little bit of an early walk, like get my like mile to 2 miles in before I'm like done for the day. So I get heading out, and I see the park near my house is jam packed with people. I pull up my phone, look at it, all the raids are like full of people on them, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so good. I'm gonna get so many Groudons and Kyogres, Dialgas and Palkias. It's gonna be great, it's gonna be awesome. As soon as I get into the park, everyone piles into their cars and just leaves. Everyone just dips out of there instantly. It was okay. Also, I was just checking on the YouTube stream, and things are like buffering there a little bit, but everything is looking fine now. But everyone just like peeled out of there as soon as I got there, and no one was there to do raids with me. And I was like, no, why? If I had just like known about this, I would have been up and out of my house like just a few minutes sooner to do this with everyone. But you know what, it's fine. We have Pocket TCG now, so, which I really enjoy. It's genuinely so addicting, and I thought I was going to curb my desire, because I want Pokemon cards so badly, just for the art. Like, I do enjoy, like, the actual game, but I just love the art for it so much, and I was like, but it's so expensive. It's so expensive. To like any kind of trading cards are like such an expensive hobby to get into. Like I have like some Digimon cards and I'm like, this was a mistake, I shouldn't have bought these because now I just want more. And then there's the One Piece trading card game. I'm like, no, stay away from me. I'll never stop spending money if you do this. I don't have enough money for this hobby. So I thought the TCG Pocket was gonna like curb that desire to get Pokemon cards, but all it's done is make me go, wowza, I sure do love all these cards. I want them in real life now, though. And it's like, no, this is the opposite of what it was supposed to do. So it's supposed to make me want them more. And I thought about, like, streaming TCG Pocket a couple times, and I'm like, no, I probably shouldn't. I get so salty when playing that game. I like to think that I don't get, like, salty when playing most games. Like, you know, everyone has like their moments, but with TCG Pocket I get so mad when someone whips out their EX Pikachu and just starts blowing my guys away on turn 2 before I even had a chance to like evolve anyone. I get so mad. I get so upset because I'm just sitting like, gosh darn it, stupid freaking rat. I've never hated Pikachu as much as I do in TCG Pocket, because like, okay, not to nerd out too much about this or like go too deep into this for anyone who doesn't care, but basically doing 90 damage on turn 2 is a ton. That's like more than most things like you can have on turn 2 can even survive. So he just blows you out of the water instantly, and it feels like specifically in the Pocket Edition, because like the games are shorter than the actual card game itself, like immediate offense feels so oppressive because there's so much less time to do anything about it, it feels like. So it's like if someone gets like their Pikachu out there and they just start going ham on it, it's like, I guess I lose. I've lost by turn 4. That was fun. Anyways, bye. And I just like, I get so mad. I get so upset because it feels like, I'm sure that there are plenty of like counter strategies. I just haven't figured them out yet, outside of just get better luck on pulling like cards that can actually handle it like that early. And it just feels so bad, because that's one of the things I like came to really like about like the actual card game, is I'm like, I feel like it's like perfectly lengthed to where even if you start off with like a bad hand, the game goes on long enough that you can like get back like with your if you have like strategies versus you have like a lot of cards that you need on like the bottom of your deck. Like, because, like, you know, it's like a bit, there's a lot of RNG involved in card games. Like, that obviously is bound to happen eventually, but the games themselves feel long enough where even if that happens, you can still implement them down the line. Whereas, like, let's say, like, you have, like, start with, like, a bunch of, like, normal, baby, basic Pokemon in your hand, and then all your evolutions are at the bottom of the pile. It's like, alright, well, there's nothing I could do. Or, like, a huge thing that happens to me is I'll have, like, in my hand, I'll have, like, all the first forms and all the last forms. And all the middle forms are just lost. They're just somewhere in the deck. And even by like turn 15, I'm like, how? Are the last 5 cards in my deck all 5 of the cards that I need right now? How is this happening again? I'm pretty sure it's just because I'm unlucky. Like, I've talked about this before, but if there is a chance that something can go wrong for me, it will. To the point that if my friends, like, anything ever, like, unlucky happens to them, they call it, like, a me moment. They have to, like, let me know, like, haha, I had a you moment, something, like, unlucky happened to me today. Like, it's the worst. Like, we were playing D&D, was it last week? Yeah, it was last week. And they're in this temple, and they're going through, like, a lot of combat trials. And I'm sort of like, oh, they're gonna be fighting, like, dragons and demons. It's gonna be awesome. And then I whip out the dragons, and then it's like, oh, dude, that's a pretty cool 2 and 3 that I've rolled 15 times in a row. Don't know how this keeps happening. Like, they are convinced that somehow my wife, like, someone is, like, weighing my dice, like, between games. But then I'll switch over to someone else's, like, set of dice. No, it's just another, like, 15 to 20, like, 2s and 3s in a row. Like, when it comes to, like, chance stuff like that, just count me out. Count me out. That's honestly why I've never gone to, like Vegas. Like, my parents love, like, they don't, okay, I'm not gonna say that they love it, but they enjoy, like, going on, like, a trip down there to do, like, some, like, light gambling. Like, they'll take out, like, 30, 40 something dollars like that, and, like, they'll be like, this is all we're gonna spend. We're just here to, like, eat some food, have some fun. We don't really care about winning. But, like, you know, if something happens, it happens, and I just go, like, no, if I go, I will it's just throwing that money away. I will go and watch you guys play, though. I am not touching any, like, those gambling tables or anything like that, because I will lose, because that's just how it always goes for me. Also, my mouth just, like, dried up like the Sahara Desert as soon as we started streaming. Great when that happens. But I think with all that being said, I think we're good. Oh, well, we know, we went for the normal preamble. That's fine. Again, I don't want to make it sound like we're in a rush, but if it goes on for too long, because I think I need to be leaving by around, like, about 2-ish hours from now. So depending on how long this goes for, it'll be, like, the perfect amount of time. So let's just go ahead and move on over to the game, and then we can get on into it. Also, I want to talk about how much I love this title screen. I've pulled the game up a couple of times to, you know, like, do, like, audio testing and stuff like that, and in none of those times have I actually taken the time to read, like, the books or anything, but it's so fun. It's so fun. They're all just titles of Studio Lawn projects. You got Without a Voice, Highway Blossoms, Heart of the Woods, Twofold, National Park Girls. Also, I'm so smart. Listen, I don't like to call myself a genius often, but I'm such a genius. Because my plan for a while has been, well, not for a while, but my plan was read Heart of the Woods, which we're going to be starting tomorrow, and then as soon as we finish that, we're just going to be jumping into National Park Girls. And then what does Studio Lawn announce? They announced, like, the, what is it, like, Love in the Park edition, I think is what it's called, question mark. Where it's just gonna be, like, all 5 of the episodes of National Park Girls, like, combined into one big thing, and it's like, it's coming out a month from now, which is about the time that we're going to be finishing Heart of the Woods, so I just planned that perfectly, because I'm just so smart. Oh my gosh. And then we have Please Be Happy, and then, like, over here, we got, like, all the other, like, Dandelion set games, like Yuri Paddle, Upwards Rain, Which You Want. This is just, I don't know, it's just such a cute, like, title screen. I really like it a lot. Also, again, I always talk about the title screen music and how much of a vibe it is, but, like, this sounds like something I would, like, be listening to while I'm going through, like, one of my guided meditation sessions, you know? It just kind of gives off, like, that type of vibe. The following story... Wait, hang on, there's one more thing I need to do, because I also forgot to do this last time specifically for the Twitch chat. Hang on. Live stream. Edit. I want to grab all the links for these games, in case anyone out there hasn't played all of them yet, which you absolutely should, because, like, genuinely, I was talking about this at, like, the end of, last stream, but all of these, and let's just go ahead and make sure I get that pinned. Oh, hang on. Have it pinned for 20. Oh, wait, shoot, I didn't mean to click on one of the links. Oh, no, sorry. Stop it. Hang on. Well, I have it pinned now. I don't know how pinning works exactly, but you know what? Unpin after, manually unpin, or end of stream. Yeah, there we go. It's just going to say the pinned thing the whole time. That's awesome. Also, let's go ahead and get this in there too while we're doing it. Just because I literally got to the end of, like, the stream on was it Thursday? Yeah, on Thursday. And I was like, oh no, I forgot to put in the links for all of the games. No. But you know what? We did it this time. That's all that matters. We did it this time. But yeah, no, like, all of these games have been, like, some of the most fun I've had streaming, like, period. Like, not just, like, oh, been some of the most fun I've had streaming in the past little while. It's just, like, some of the most fun I've had streaming, period, because all of them have been so good and so much fun from beginning to end. Like, the amount of times, also, I've just been reading through this while talking. I like that the last trigger warning is, and toxic lesbianism. Nice. Oh, that's great, because also one of the things we're going to be playing coming up is it gets so lonely here. Oh no. Too much toxic lesbianism. Hang on. I should probably also do a quick little trigger warning for that as well. Let's just go ahead and do trigger warning. Implied domestic abuse. Just in case anyone, like, comes in later. I don't want them to get, like, blindsided by anything. Like, someone comes in and they're like, oh yeah, let's just, like, read this, like, visual novel along with this person, you know? And then suddenly, like, something that they weren't expecting comes out. I would not want that to happen to someone. Oh no, oh, that's the one that's gonna get me. I do not handle, like, animal deaths, like, that, and, like, kids. If stuff happens to, like, that, I think it's, like, the idea of, like, something, like, innocent, essentially, like, being hurt in any way. it's like, oh no, I'm not okay with that. It like hurts me in the heart. All right, I'm just gonna quickly copy that so I can also put it into the YouTube chat. There we go. Bloop, bloop. And then YouTube. Also, if you're on the YouTube side, all the links to the games are in the description, so check that out there. It's nice and easy, so like you don't need to worry about like the chat or anything. You can just like pull up like the stream later if you want to, and just go to the description, and then you got it right there. But yeah, now with all that being said, let's get into it. The following story contains implied domestic abuse, explicit violence, animal death, and toxic lesbianism. Reader discretion is advised. And do not try and do not try this at home. I promise I will not be a toxic lesbian at home. Oh, hello, hi hon. How are you doing today? How's it going? I need more water. I need more water. Thanks for stopping by. Are you ready to read a story about a lot of fun topics today? It's gonna be a great time. In a sense, you're fortunate. One loss that you'll never feel slip through your grasp is what it was to be God's. I'm good. Can't stay but here to support. Oh no, you're so good. Again, like this is another like with my streams, it's like, oh yeah, they just come out of nowhere. There's no schedule. There's just like I feel like doing it. So I'm so thankful that you're here to support though, and I hope that you have a great rest of your night with whatever you're doing. What are you up to tonight? Of course, that title was given to us by those who didn't understand. The folk have never had deities of our own. Those condemned to such short lives, perhaps, can only view any who live longer than them as abominations. But when humanity first came to this land and saw what we were and knelt, in their awe, they prayed to remain insignificant to our eyes. Not a night went by that was not spent in revelry, and changelings danced among us nearly as numerous as ourselves. And we stretched from the ice and whispering winds of the north, between the oceans of east and ore-precious mountains of west, to the depths of this forest, and magic was all that enthralled us. Should we have thought that time would end, we whose natural lives have always been eternal? It may yet have gone on forever, had one of our own been less foolish. Gaming with the boyfriend, I somehow... when did that happen? What? How did I not hear about this? Dude spawned out of nowhere. Okay, you know, I guess I should have just read the second half. Just came out of nowhere. That makes sense. Like yesterday, dude, exactly. No, that was like my initial reaction to the first of like, how could you not tell me about that? And then I read the second half of your sentence like, I understand how you didn't tell me about that, so I completely understand now. It's all new. Yeah, no, that like totally is understandable. I hope that you have a great time like gaming with your new boyfriend. That's exciting. Oh my gosh. Hang on, but you'll have to tell me all about it later, okay? Promise, promise. I'm sorry, I forgot. No, you're so fine. Listen, it happened yesterday. It's fine. There's not a lot of time to tell me and all that. Promises, thank you. That's all I can ask for. That's all I can ask for. But yeah, thank you for stopping by, and I hope that you have a great time gaming with your boyfriend. That sounds awesome. Where were we? Should we have thought that time? Have fun, Bendy. Thank you. Have a great night yourself. Have a great time. Should we have thought that time would end, we whose natural lives have always been eternal? It may yet have gone on forever, had one of our own been less foolish. A human trickster, their name long forgotten, took one of the folks for a lover and betrayed them. With stolen magic, the trickster forged the iron weapons that proved fatal to our kind, and humanity climbed up from its knees with a ruler of their own. Our weakening was meted out in lines they called borders, desolation they called progress. A small human hovel in the north grew into their royalty's snarling gullet, and they ate outwards, through the land as they gained more and more influence so quickly. We lost our ice, our ocean, our mountains. What remains of us here, in this wood, where every breath of magic is a fight to not be its last? We would weep to lower our heads and proclaim this the age of humanity, but it is certainly no longer an age of the folk. Humanity sprawls its seat further than can be pushed back, and now we suffer. It did not have to be this way. It was humanity that stole everything from you and I. You must remember that. On wings, bringing sleep. I love the format of this is so cool. The way it's just like laid out like a page. I don't know. It just like, what's the best way to describe it? It feels like if you were to open up like a, oh, I had like a thought in my head. There are like versions of like classic myths out there, like the Odyssey or like the Iliad, that'll have like pictures like this, but then we'll still just have like full like pages of like text, if that makes sense. Like not really like a picture book, just a book that also has pictures in it. A great one that I like really like that sort of does a similar thing is, I think it's like, oh, I don't have it on me because I lent it to a friend. I think it's called like When a Monster Calls. It's like this incredible book. I loved it, and actually when I was like reading it, I was at like a car place, like getting my car fixed up and everything, and a lady was there talking to me about it and like telling me like how like it helped her get through like the death of a loved one and everything like that, because like it's like that kind of like good of a book. And like it gives off like vibes to this immediately with like the presentation, because like all throughout the book it's like very unique like layouts of like the page itself. Like the words will like say like over here, like if you is my mouse showing? Yes, it is. Like the words will start over here and then like slowly like go over here to like loop back around as there's like a picture in the background. Like this isn't doing exactly that. That's just kind of like the vibes it gave me immediately. Also, like while I was reading that, I was like, yeah, like I feel like in like every story where it's like stuff like this, like humanity does just like spread out and like ruin nature and life and everything that's like tied to that. I'm like, I would say that would be a slightly generic like story if it wasn't like the truest thing ever, because I was thinking that like, yeah, okay, but if like Fae and like the folk did exist, we would totally do this to them. Like we would totally just spread like humanity and everything and just like take everything away from them. Like I have like no doubt in my heart about that. Maybe that's a little too pessimistic, but that's how I feel. The wood is withered. I feel it around me like the arms of someone who once loved me. I do. Oh, I love that line. That line's, I don't know, just like the imagery and the feelings that gave me, really good. I do. But whatever it is now, this isn't what was told to me in song. I may be a child to those who saw themselves as gods, but I do pay attention. Even this close to midsummer, the green of the trees is just green. Even Mother says to me that it's getting worse, so I know that all of the folk of the wood see it. Maybe that's why my magic refuses to bloom. Why should a child born to the decline of the folk have the same sort of power her mother does? There will never be a future where I lead them like she does. It's too crowded in the lungs, too frantic, everyone worrying that the wood is dying, all while they still prepare for midsummer. A reveal at the end of the world. It makes folks act oddly, the way you shed everything you are to feel true escape, just for a moment. Of course, that's only possible if you can somehow forget that you have to come back to the real you, and she's the one who will be different forever after what you've done. Do humans sense it? I can breathe easier out here, just the birds and the trees and me, closer to whatever fine blade of grass is the definitive border. That's another thing the woodfolk don't talk about, and I'm not bringing up with Mother. But there are humans who venture near these parts, a woodcarver who makes sure to only take from dead trees, exceptionally brave children from the nearest human settlement, a day's walk to the west, a nomad family of hunters who lay their traps. It is strange that they're my favorites. I've grown the most familiar with them. A mother and her two sons, always setting their snares at dawn and returning to collect their rabbits and squirrels before nightfall. They're always together. I know Mother wouldn't approve of my interest. It certainly isn't that she fears humans, but she still counts her losses to them. One more thing about me she wouldn't understand. Maybe that's it. Without magic, I might as well be a human. Oh? I'm not gonna lie, the actual like sound of like the humming like slightly jump scared me. I was like, oh, who's humming in my ear? Stop. Singing? It's barely past dawn, and that's no song of the folk. Let's try that again. A human? I think a new one. Her voice fell flat of that high note. Not her being out here being a music critic. Her voice fell flat of that high note, and she just tried the melody again. How did she manage to make it sound so natural? This feels like a dream, letting some strange melody lead my way. I don't want to interrupt her. A girl? She's singing to the bird perched on that branch, like we would. Oh, but her other hand. She took 2 eggs right from the nest and into her pocket. It's clever enough that she must have tried this before. Alright, at least that's breakfast taken care of. Mother would just observe. Well, Mother wouldn't have followed a mystery song through the wood at all. That song was lovely. Also Morgane. I don't know what it is about that name. Like, obviously it gives like very like Morgan Le Fay kind of vibes with it being like Morgane, and I'm like, that's fun. That's clever. If that is like obviously like the like the call essentially. Who goes there? She jumps at my arrival. How do I appear to her? Her gaze is lingering on... Ah, my ears. You're... Faye? Oh, look at so pretty. They're both so pretty. Like I love just like the little marks on like her body like accentuate and like make her like feel more different than I guess like from a human without just like it just being like the pointed ears. Also like her eyes being like the little slants. Like I think I talked about it like in like the one of the build-up videos, like one of the updates. So, like she gives like almost kind of like a dragony kind of vibes. Like I don't know why, but these like make me feel like think of like scales, and like her eyes like make me think of like a dragon's. Like I don't know, it just looks very cool. Hello, you mustn't be from these parts. Well, I appreciate the compliment. The song's just a lullaby my sister sang it to me when we were little. And you're not quite right about me not being from around here. You could say I'm kept under close watch. Yet you're sneaking out to hunt your breakfast and risking being caught by a folk of the wood? But singing like that, perhaps you were hoping to be caught. How are you so certain that you caught me? No, it's my fault. It takes 2 to meet too close to the boundary. Letting you go for today is the right thing to do. Only for today? Oh, such mercy. I'd ought to run along before you change your mind. Ellipses. Ellipses. A triple ellipses. Or... or will you be passing through tomorrow? Tomorrow? That would be something different from whatever this is. I could try to find this grove again. I do believe that I could as well. Well, my sister will throw a fit if I make her wait on breakfast, but I'll look forward to tomorrow. To tomorrow is one of the hardest things I've ever like. It's like for me specifically, it's one of the hardest things to say. I don't know why. I mean, I kind of get it with like the to, you know, but it's just like I fumble over it so often. Ah, that's right. Humans have a superstition that if one of the folk gives you our name first, we can hold no power over you. I'm Morgane. Morgane? I feel like that suits you. I'm very glad to have met you. My name is... Ilse? I'll say Ilse. I'll say Ilse. I can't help but hum that lullaby, she said. That lullaby, she said? The folk don't have to sleep as much as humans. I've never thought about a song I would want to fall asleep to. That is funny considering I was like talking about like the title screen music and sort of like the music that's going on right now. I'm like, this would be like great music. Like I said it was like great like guided meditation kind of music. This would be great music to fall asleep to. And I have something to look forward to now. Ilse and I barely talked for 2 minutes, but this is the most that I've wanted to do something in ages. Speaking of things I need to do, let's see. Some chamomile and some gardenia. Oh, and lavender. Perfect. That should be strong enough to mask any of Ilse's scent if any of Ilse's scent got on me. I don't think I could pass her off for a changeling, especially since the only one I've talked to is... Ellipses. Forget her. More folk about this morning than usual. Must be revel preparations. I don't really bother waving to anyone anymore. Sure, there are more new faces now that the last of the mountain folk have merged with us, but even the ones I've known all my life, it's obvious how they see me. Late bloomer. Unendowed. Can she really be Mab's daughter? Believe me, I'd have it some other way too. Oh, I was not expecting the horns. That looks so cool. Especially like, cause like kind of like curves up with like the fullness of her hair essentially. Like that looks really cool. Mother and I live on the outskirts of the lungs. For how much time I spend trying to escape it. Also, this music sounds so chaotic right now. Like not like in a bad way or anything. It's just like just having like the two like layers of like music on top of each other essentially. It's like how it kind of sounds. It sounds like, again, just like very chaotic. For how much time I spend trying to escape it, you think there are shackles keeping Mother chained inside. Sometimes she'll go months speaking to nobody but me, if nothing requiring her leadership comes up. I take a moment to breathe in the old woods, the Morgaine who spends her days roaming the woods, spying on humans. She's left out there beneath the trees. She's not the one who enters this cottage. I like to think she's the real me. I wish it was larger in here. I can't hide anywhere, not even from the walls. They're all painted with the stories of old, from when all this land was our heaven. Mother is there, but the portrait isn't really her. She's so minimal, just dark horns and judgment among all the revels and hunts, violence and creation. I've always felt a revolting fascination with them, like the first time I opened up a dead animal for a spell, power that my role is to never dream of. Good morning, Mother. Ivy would have been preferable to gardenias, but you can fetch that later. You know where to put the flowers. Can I help prepare anything for the solstice? I suppose there are some more wreaths that need to be woven. Ah, yes, wreaths. Wreaths that shall do all the magic with, mind you. I can weave some of the finest wreaths in the wood, for how many years I spent only making them. Morning glory, barberry, watercress, the bowl of rabbit's blood beside them. Memory puppets my blood-stained fingers. Good enough. Remember that you were born to a purpose, Morgaine. Here we go again, as always. We are the Witch Kings. We are the Guardians. We keep the magic, and with it, the only order in this world that can be hoped for. And what would she do if she knew I met a human in the wood just an hour ago? That Ilse wasn't afraid of me, that she threatened none of our kind, that she was warm and beautiful, and all she asked of me was whether we could meet again. I understand, Mother. I'm sorry, Morgaine, but you don't. Not until you play your own part. Ellipses. I need to go gather some more ivy. It looks like we need more magnolia as well. She doesn't need to know I crushed the last of it under my boot. You know what you're doing, I hope. Those blackbirds are out again. Is it strange that I hope they don't wind up anyone's dinner? Let's see, which way did I walk yesterday? I think it was to the west, and then a bit north. Look at how happy she is to see her. Going from like her scene with her mom, where she's just like clearly not having any like zero amount of joy, to be like, as soon as she sees Ilse, just being like, oh my gosh, look at her. Haha. Birds chirp chirp. Hello, Dr. Mice. How are you doing? Thanks for being here. How's it going? But yeah, no, just the chirp chirps of the woods. I also wouldn't want to see any of like those birds be turned into anyone's dinner. Oh, but yeah, no, I just like the juxtaposition of how happy she is. Just like me, like this person she's only known for 2 minutes makes her feel so much more like accepted than like her entire village, essentially, including her own mom. I am well, and yourself? I'm doing pretty a-okay, not too bad. It's been like, you know, very average day. Went for a walk, tried to catch some Pokemon, didn't work out too well, but now I'm here, and you know what? That's like made it all better, so thank you so much for asking. She's really here. I almost want to sing the next line with her. But what's that hanging from her belt? It looks like a knife? Which could be for anything. She was hunting yesterday, wasn't she? Oh my gosh, is this about to turn into like, we like go up to her and she just immediately tries to kill us? Is that what's about to happen? Please don't. I have to ask, have you read this before? Do you know what's coming? Am I the only one going blind into this? Because immediately from, I don't know, from the trigger warning we got at the beginning of this, I'm sitting here like, are we about to get stabbed? Am I about to have to walk back on how I was like, oh, look how happy we are. It's so great that we have someone that, like, makes Morgane feel, like, accepted and wanted, you know? Like, it would suck if she immediately betrayed us. Still, I don't see any blood on her. And the real thing she needs to protect herself from in the wood is... Pokemon Go user? I lurked in one someone. Stream, I have some idea. Okay. That's fair, as long as you have some idea. Because I don't know. Again, when you get like trigger warnings, it just immediately makes you more suspicious of everything, I feel. And yes, absolutely, I am a huge Pokemon Go user. I've been playing it since the game came out, and there's like a... I assume that you know about this, but there was a huge event today, and I went out for it. Didn't get a single thing, because as soon as I arrived where everyone else was at, everyone left. Like, the entire, like all, like, 30 cars that were, like, at the park I went to, all just dipped. So, it was like oh, I guess it's a good thing I already have all the legendaries out today, but, like, more never hurts. Especially getting, like, shinies and stuff, like, that'd be cool. Morgane, are you there? You heard me coming? I'm not certain that heard is the best word. I felt something yesterday, and just now, right before you appeared, you Fae probably don't even register it, but it's like the whole forest pulling a touch closer to around me. So, yesterday too then. I'd be lying if I said there was no shudder. Can I confess something? When I felt it with the stories I've heard about those trees, I did wonder, hope even. So, the singing... Well, don't start thinking too highly of yourself. A girl does need to eat too. Ellipses. No need to just stand there. We both found our way back, didn't we? She doesn't even seem fazed by how close we're sitting. It's like she doesn't have a care in the world. Must be nice. Oh no, I need to say something. But this is only the second time we've met. How much do we actually have to talk about? I didn't know there was an event, but have you heard of the Pikmin variant, lol? Yeah, there's like a... It was like some like Pokemon like wild area event. I don't exactly know what the difference between like... Because like in the main like line games, like the wild area was just like, hey, there's Pokemon roaming around. And I'm like, that's just what Pokemon Go is. So there's not much of a difference. And they brought like a bunch of legendaries like Dialga, Kyogre, Palkia, Groudon. And they put those guys into like the raids and everything. That was about it. It was just kind of like repeating some content while introducing 2 new Pokemon. But yes, I have heard of the Pikmin variant. I haven't like looked into it too much just because I've never actually played a Pikmin game though. But I've heard it's good. I've heard it's really good. I'm guessing that's the one that you play. Because yeah, I know I've heard it's really good. But I've always wanted to get into Pikmin. I just never have, I guess. It's one of those franchises I've just never looked too much at. So, did you find any more breakfast today? Nice. We got the Riz. Let's go. Really? Breakfast? What am I even saying? But she's laughing. It's musical, like she can make her amusement and bend it into something beautiful. No unlucky birds today, sadly. Maybe they got smarter. Maybe... I did find these, though. She's woven some wildflowers up her arm the same way I do. Aw, that's cute. I thought that I might bring some back for my sister and myself. Is she the sort who wears flowers in her hair? No, I can't quite picture that, which is why I want to see it. She wouldn't say no. It's the least she owes me. She smiles with her teeth. Her hands keep going in and out of her dress pockets while she talks. She feels realer than she did yesterday. I've made a lot of wreaths out of flowers like those, you know? The gardens we have are... beautiful, so I've heard. The drawings of some of your flowers that I've seen. The paths change every day, even as you walk. Oh, look at her little blushes. That's so cute. The air brushes your cheeks like it's been longing for your return. It's tempting just to linger at the entrance, but you wonder what's in bloom. Even flowers you would grow on your windowsill feel different. Golden. Magic? It seems more fantastic than I can imagine. The whole garden is really at your command. Oh, the garden! Is that where you keep your menageries of fearsome beasts? Fearsome beasts? I've read about them too. twin-tailed black cats who trick you and travelers into games of finger bones on your behalf, or serpents who grant understanding of their language with a bite. Well, some of us do have familiars. You make them sound far more fantastic, though. Oh. I want to try it, but I don't touch grass often, actually. That's so fair, so based. I don't do it often, too, but I'm like, you know what? If there's an event, might as well get out. I try to go for a walk every day. It doesn't always happen, but I try. The art style is always so cute in these VNs. No, it really is. Like, it's like look at how like pretty and regal they are, but then you just like scroll up to like, hang on, to like the blush. It's like, oh my gosh, she's precious. Must protect. The black cat does sound cool. That's why I was thinking. I was like, wait, can we get like a picture of that black cat? That'd be so cool. And I'd also want to know how someone gets tricked into a game of finger bones. I don't. Maybe I'm overestimating myself. I don't know how I would be tricked into that specific game. I'm not gonna lie. She's so earnest. I feel guilty being the bearer of bad news. It makes sense that human accounts have blown things out of proportion, though. What would help her understand? Or I can try showing her. It won't be the real thing, but when we tend to them, it's sort of like... What am I thinking? I'm about to make a fool of myself. Because how many times have I dug a hole into the earth like right now? Have I placed bits of plants inside and covered it back up? Breathed in with my hands over the plot. When did Ilse lean closer? What does she see? Some one-trick gardener? Or one of the Fae? So many different flowers bloom within this grove. I have to focus on just the one. Huh? It's a magnolia petal, but I've never thought of it like this before. I see it in my mind, but it's part of the soil now too. And that soil is part of this grove, with every dewdrop on every blade of grass, and the wildflowers Ilse picked, and the roots going up into the trees, and I'm not at all me. I'm one of those blackbirds in the sky looking down, the only other creatures in the world who know about us. We bleed into the grove. There's color again. The wood knows me, and now it knows Ilse, and it's singing her lullaby. The soil is trembling beneath my fingers. I unclasp them, and I hope Ilse thinks their shaking is normal. As I raise my palms upwards, the blossoming magnolias are coaxed from the earth, straining for the sky of... my magic. It's so easy. I turn back to Ilse, and I know it. It's her. It's her. Until I met the strange human girl, despite 1,000 tries, I could never do this. I pluck the magnolia from the earth. Dog, it's crazy that when someone's, like, nice to you and gives you positive reinforcement in any way, you can, like, perform better. That's so crazy. Keep it. You made it. White isn't my color anyhow. Alright, wait, are you sure that white isn't your color? Alright, fair enough. It's not much. Whole gardens are still out of my reach. These are more manageable. I pluck up a stalk of Ilse's wildflowers, braiding my magnolias through the smaller blooms. I don't even have to think about what my fingers do. I barely have to look away from Ilse as I braid another wreath. Some skill for one of the fabled folk, isn't it? Could you humor me? Would you mind turning around? Listen. Maybe it's the chaos of the music, or, you know, the trigger warnings at the beginning, but, like, everything about this is still making me feel just, like, slightly, like, uneasy, like, just a little bit off. So I'm just like, she has the knife. I haven't forgotten about that. Morgane might have, but I haven't, and I feel like we might be about to get stabbed. I promise I'm not this untrusting in real life. Oh, maybe I should have kept to just one flower. Making a whole patch grow in a matter of seconds was a bit much. She takes the wreath from me, and then I feel her hand on the back of my neck, pushing my braid forward. The cold prick of her fingertip somehow feels like a sunburn on my skin. She can see my left ear fully now, my base nature laid bare. There's a small breeze blowing just between us. It's Ilse, breathing me in. Her fingertips trace higher to the nape of my neck. My dove, my swan, you've been gone so long. How many tears must I shed for your song? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. You tensed up. It's fine. You can keep singing the lullaby, right? Right. Her own hands are getting more confident, and her voice. You left me with naught but a smile and passed on. This poor crow can't fly from the memory of your arms. Yet I know what skies you soared onto from me. No pale beauty feather is stirred from my pleas. I bared you my heart, and I'll see yours bared too, if holding it's the last thing I'll ever do. Her hair is nothing like mine. How would it feel to run my fingers through hers like this? Let's try something else. Who taught you this? Your mother? I taught myself. Too much time on my hands, my sister always says. That should do. Bring it back over your shoulder. I wish I had a mirror to show you properly. Oh my gosh. That's so pretty. Oh my gosh. The wildflowers, she's woven them all through my braid and crowned me with a wreath. They smell soft, sweet. Thank you. I thought you said that song was a lullaby. It seems a bit what? Dark is all. The end. It seems more like the singers laying a claim to their beloved, rather than pursuing their love as equals. Now that you mention it, I suppose so. I've known it for so long that I never gave it much thought. Although, knowing my sister, it might well be some murder ballad that just happened to put me to sleep one night. That would just raise the question of, like, why your sister was singing you a murder ballad. I don't know. Anyways, that's the sort of thing she sings in a good mood. Oh, I kind of want to meet the sister. Who really thinks about the stories we tell children? Who really thinks about the stories we tell children until someone points out their flaws? That's so true, considering, like, a lot of, like, the songs you sing as kids are just, like, horribly morbid, you know? You know? And, like, a lot of, like, the fairy tales we tell the kids are also, like, just awful. Like, once you actually, like, realize, like, oh yeah, these are really dark. I don't know if they're okay or for, like, kids, but then it's like, let's just not think about them too much. Stories. There's the one Mother has told me so many times. I've memorized where she pauses to breathe. But all that happened centuries ago. Things get lost in memory, don't they? Let me return the favor somehow. Our midsummer revel is almost here. Maybe next time I could teach you some of our songs? Maybe next time, listen to me, assuming a whole future without even thinking. I'll look forward to it. I have little else to celebrate. For just a moment there, something slipped through. I know what kind of sadness that was. The revel, if I could make a glamour, it could sharpen the tip of her ears. She could dance to our music, be the queen of the festivities. And when she's caught, how horribly will that end? The grove is what we have. The grove is enough. I pick up the second wreath and straighten it on Issa's brow. Wear this next time too, so that one thing of ours can match. You keep saying next time. Even yesterday you agreed so readily. You really want to know that much about me? You're new, unlike anything else. Well, I suppose you do have me there. I should go. My sister and I live alone, and she worries if I'm gone for too long. Of course, we wouldn't want that. Tomorrow, though? Tomorrow. Two young human women living alone, this close to Folk Forest. Fearlessness must run in the family. And who knows about young either? That sister of hers sounds more like a mother, if she was singing Ilse to sleep as a baby. Oh, hello, who is this? Just what in the name of the tallest mountains was that, Morgane? Who? Dahlia? Oh my gosh, I love her hair so much. I love big, floofy hair. Also, she looks absolutely horrified to see Dahlia, which is the proper reaction. You know, I agree. I get it. So this is where you've been wandering further and further off to. Gathering for Mab, surely. What does Mother have to do with this? Really, Morgane? I'm trying to give you an excuse here, because to me, it looks like you... Why do you care about what it looks like I'm doing? I thought that wasn't how you felt. I think it matters for all of us if you're beguiling a human. That's not... I don't have to explain myself to you. You're a changeling. How is it any different? You and I both know perfectly well the difference between me and a human. Did her family leave her at a boundary? Has she met the changed part of the process? That's what I thought. No, it's not, because nobody is being beguiled. She's a girl from the wood who happens to be human, and it doesn't matter if she knows who I am, because she's the first one who doesn't care. Do you really mean that, Morgane? No. How about for once you answer my question? Did you follow me? Yes. Why? Needing to make sure I haven't gone on too alright without you. Oof. Oof. Ugh. This would be easier if she wasn't still gorgeous as ever. You could throw Dahlia off a cliff and she'd splatter prettily. Imagine trying to use that as like a pickup line on someone, like, you know, if I threw you off a cliff, you'd be the prettiest looking splatter I'd ever seen up top. You know, that's great. I want to try that. I want to, you know what? I'm gonna say that to one of my friends tonight, because after I have the work thing going on tonight, and then after that, we're gonna go watch The Office, because that's what we are planning to do tonight. And I'm just gonna throw that out there, see how they react. Oh, that'd be perfect, wouldn't it? Little Miss Perfect raising her hand to the sad, broken daughter of the Witch King. Except, she's tracing my jaw as she pulls me closer. Her lips brush the ridge of my cheek. Well, have you? I still remember how to hold her. Her lips close in on mine. What? The magnolias I grow that weren't woven into Ilse's and my crowns are right at my feet. I don't think anything. The girl I loved like a spark loves dry wood is kissing me again. But they shoot upwards. Ah, my ankle! She breaks apart from me, stops, tears her foot out from the magnolia stalks that wrapped up and around it. Morgane, what are... Oh, you're all over them. Did you use magic? Does Mab know? Why do you care what goes on between me and my mother? Morgane, if you did, that changes things. You're not being fair. And you're only honest when it suits you. Oof. Oof. Just really dig it in there. How does it feel being on the other end? No, she doesn't get to ruin this for me. If she tries to follow me again, I'll what? I didn't even mean for that thing with the flowers to happen, and... I don't want to hurt her. Not really. She's the one who makes having a simple conversation impossible, though. I've always been able to keep up with her. I've always barely been able to keep up with her. That's why it's for the better that she ended things, no matter how much it hurt back then. Whatever impression she got of Ilse, too, she's wrong. I'm not, that is to say... Ugh. I know what falling in love feels like. Dahlia's the one to thank for that. And I did kiss her back just now. But it doesn't change that the first time I've ever been able to use magic was when I was with Ilse. Yes, that's what I need right now, while I feel this out. A friend. Someone who isn't judging me, or has no motives of her own. Just a friend. Morgane! We're meeting even earlier today. It's not yet dawn. I suppose neither of us could wait. I would worry how Ilse found her way through the wood in the dark, but there's a candle lit inside the glass lantern she's holding. She looks... tired. Tense. Dog, I would be too. I have a hard time waking up before 10 a.m. I could not imagine being here before dawn. She wasn't using her right hand to hold things yesterday. Where did those blisters on her palm come from? Did I not mention it? Did I say that out loud? Oh, you don't need to hide it, I just... Well, now's as good a time as any. My sister is a craftswoman. It's only right that I help her with whatever she needs. Would you humor me? How far exactly is your home from here? It just troubles me. How far you've been walking? Would you like for me to show you? In the name of allaying your fears? We're traveling further north like I suspected, but not towards the human village. I don't think any of the folk have walked in this part of the wood since Mother's youth. And Ilse, she keeps looking back over her shoulder at me, like she can't believe I'm following her. Is my being here helping her nerves, or causing them? I don't know what else I expected. It's a proper house. No thatched-together cabin with logs still groaning from being cut down. How long did you say your family has lived here? Oh, the cottage? I don't know, to be perfectly honest. My sister couldn't live in the capital anymore. She took me with her and followed the river south until she found... Well, we aren't the praying sorts, but it was a certain stroke of luck, wouldn't you say? So it's always just been the two of you for all your life? I want to say that name is Creamild? I think I'm not great with these names. I'm not gonna lie. I can't see. Oh, I didn't even read what she said. Ilse, are you out here? I can't see her, but it's no mystery who that must be. Something feels wrong. Oh, the music's so creepy right now. Ooh, stop. I crumple a fistful of... Oh, I don't know how to say that word either. Ague in my pocket and lay my palm on the nearest tree. I've seen plenty of folk do this spell before. How I pronounce that word is so not how you would pronounce that at all. That was so far off, I'm sure. And it feels sort of like growing the flowers did yesterday. Bloom. Hide. It's like the bark of the trunk grows around my hand. A slot of hot wax that scrapes it rather than burns. My skin models the same color as the wood. Patches of moss laying their claim up my arm until all of me that's visible is dusky green. Go, Ilse. It's fine. Why is she looking at me like... Wait. Oh, that was Morgane. For some reason I thought that was, Maeve, Morgane's mom. I don't know why. Like, that's just, like, where my brain went to with, like, the darkened silhouette. I like, not the darkened silhouette, but, like, the darkened, like, little portrait down here. I don't know why. Why is she looking at me like... Oh, no. This isn't the magic I use to grow those flowers. This is... I'm... The reason humans cut down the trees before they lay claim to the forest. The story that keeps children from wandering from their beds. The monster tapping my fingers at her windows. Ilse? Oh, wait, is it, like... Eliz? Like, Elizabeth? I think maybe. Do something, Eliz. Say something. I promise it's still me. Ah, Kriemhild. I'm right here. Eliz? I'm just butchering these names so poorly. Did you go out into the woods? Eliz, I swear, I don't want to talk about this again. The sun's barely even up. It's alright. Let's just go inside. Kriemhild, it's nothing. That's right. That's all you can say. Nothing. Nothing. I'm nothing. Oh. Oh, stop. No. No, come on. Should I have a sense to stay away? If Kriemhild suspects something, we need to both be cautious. But I was cautious this morning when I used the camouflage magic. Look what Eliz thought of that. Alright, left arm, right arm. Everything back to what Eliz sees. And as for what's in the bag around my waist, well, Mother might see what I stole and realize that magic, and might realize what magic they work together. Maybe she'll be proud. I've got to go back to that cottage. She won't come to me. I recognize how she talked to that sister of hers. Sister, mother, seems either way. I thought right. It somehow looks smaller at night. Which room is Eliz's? That's the last thing I need. Her sister waking up to see me outside her window. Oh, up there. The loft on the second floor. That's the candle from Eliz's lantern this morning. Did she light it for... She even left it open. And there she is, brushing out her hair for the night. Her arms. I hear how she breathes in every time she raises them. They're stiff. She's hurting. So it's definitely not just that she does, like, craft work with her mom. It's definitely not just that. But then, something isn't right in this house. But then, I already know that. Eliz? What do you want? I've never seen her like this. She turned around so quickly. But, she looks like she hates me. Like the doe at the end of the wild hunt. I've only seen her teeth when she smiles, never her fangs. And her night... I love I love like the syntax that that this game is using. Like what was the line at the very beginning of like the branches reaching out like a hug from like dead arms, or it was something like that. It was just such a good descriptors, you know. And it's the same thing here. Like, I've only seen her teeth when she smiles, never her fangs. That's like that's such a good line. And her nightgown isn't like the clothes I met her in. I can see more of her. Her chest, her shoulders, they're all bruised like ugly eclipses all over the peach of her skin. It's the height of summer. I've always met her when any human should have sweat salting their scalp, with her neckline buttoned up to her throat and the cuffs at her wrists. Oh, they've always been there. Who hurt you? Who? Oh, why didn't you tell me? Regain, tell you what? You're not a fool, Elise, and I'm not either. You shouldn't have come back. I think those bruises are exactly why I should have. You don't understand nearly as much as you think that you do. Elise, if I did anything that upset you, I truly am sorry. That wasn't my intent. No, Morgaine, it's not... Ugh. I'm not angry with you. It's myself, how I acted earlier. I don't know why I thought leading you here was a good idea. And when Kremhold was there and I... Wait, hang on. I've never had a friend. Not truly. And I realized that you are to me. And I realized what you are to me. Morgaine, I just hadn't let myself think that way until we were right there at the doorstep, and... it wasn't perfect. Not the way I thought it would be. Friend? She does feel this bond too then. It's real. So why does that word feel like a shadow on a summer day? I want to help you, Elise. No matter how little an escape I can offer. I don't know where yet. Past the grove, maybe. There's our revel. But you can't understand the kindness you've shown me. It's all that feels right to offer you. For your friendship. Thank you, Morgaine. Why do I feel like you know so much more about me than I do you? Necessary caution? When you were a stranger, at least. Don't you see it, though? I can't explain my world in words. This is the best answer I can give you. Surely a night stolen into the Folkwood is better than... how I exist here? What have I done for you to slip through my window with the night and save me from existence? Please, please don't think of me that way. As a girl who's only wounded, only ever falling, who's never wondered where the bravery to save herself lies. She's only held my face in her hands for a moment, but is there some magic that preserves the ghost of a touch? Tomorrow, then? Tomorrow. Good night, Morgaine. I don't like... it feels like the music specifically gets, like, more chaotic, like, when it's, like, nearing the end of their interactions. Like, I just don't know how to feel about that. Let's see. I think I got away cleanly. Mother shouldn't notice me taking from her storage if I supplement them from the gardens. I should have guessed food would be heavier to carry, though. Oh, hello again. Just you today, little blackbird? Oh, we actually got a little picture of the blackbird. Let's go. Well, I suppose you know where I'm off to. Why haven't you flown off with the rest of your flock, though? What makes a bird decide somewhere is the place to remain? Ah, careful where you're flying, little bird. You nearly made me drop my bag of tricks. You really are my escort, then. Maybe I should call you something nicer than little bird. Morgaine, I know you're there. What gave it away this time? It was different. I could hear you talking to yourself, or some, like, little bird. She steps closer to me and takes my hand in hers with a swipe of her thumb over my knuckles. That's a standard human greeting, right? It was a scent today. I don't even know if it's yours alone, but I felt like every tree in the forest had suddenly gone into full bloom. All that lightness and lush was wrapping around me. Using the Fey Dramatics, are you? I wasn't trying to. Never mind it for now. Oh, your hair. What about it? The flowers. You didn't have to keep them there for me, you know? No, do they look wrong? I tried to enchant them so that they wouldn't wilt. Well, today I thought... I mean, with everything you said last night, I thought I would try to make myself more at home here. She's brought a blanket to spread over the grass, the quilt from her bed, even sitting at ease. Here or last night, she looks regal. I don't think she could slouch her shoulders if she tried. About that, I had an idea. We always prepare so much food for the midsummer revel. Nobody is going to miss a little amount of it. You'd like to try it, that is. If you'd like to try it, that is. Let's see. Hang on. Wait. Oh, I didn't mute the mic. No! Listen. It's fine. I thought I muted in time. I didn't. It's whatever. As long as I don't... Listen, I felt like I did a Legends Arceus playthrough when I had COVID. And my lord, is it the worst thing to listen to? Because it's just a lot of me coughing and sneezing like directly into the mic. Because I don't know if this was how it was for everyone, but like when I had COVID, all of the sneezes and coughing fits came out of nowhere. There was like no build up to it. It was just suddenly like I'm being hit with it all at once. So like I couldn't like turn away or anything. At least with that one, still had like the wherewithal to like turn my head away so I'm not sneezing directly into the microphone. So at least I did that. Let's see. Fruits I picked from the gardens, honey milk, sweet cakes, some birds simmered in that saffron sauce I like. I can't predict everything there will be, but staples seem a safe place to start. She's hesitating though, even over something basic as bread. Is her hand shaking? I'm sorry. It all looks delicious. Don't misunderstand, but how could I have forgotten? She's likely spent her whole life being told any food of the folk will turn to ash in her mouth, if not worse. If I may, take these berries. We eat them just before the sun begins to set. They wake you up. To the wood. That's what the revel really is. The one time of year where all the old magic can be felt. Oh, hang on. Let's move on over to Twitch really quick to do some good old classic banning and stuff. Hang on. I feel like this is just gonna go poor. I don't know. It's purely just because I don't know if I'd be feeling this like uneasy if it wasn't for the trigger warning. But you know, a trigger warning is a great way to make you feel on edge the whole time. I'm just sitting here like waiting for the shoe to like finally drop and be like, bam, here you go. Here's all the awfulness. You know what I mean? Like obviously like there's already like some of the stuff like the implied abuse and everything. Okay, hang on. I'm bad at Twitch, so I'm still figuring it out. But like I don't know. I'm just waiting for the rest to happen because it's also sort of already done like the injury to animals, but with like talking about like using them in like spells and stuff like that. So I'm still like kind of waiting for like the toxic lesbianism, you know? I'm still waiting for that. Hang on, there we go. What do you mean the user I'm trying to ban doesn't exist? They're right there. Hang on. There we go. there we go. Anyways. What? Hang on. Let me real quickly reread all of the trigger warnings really quick. Implied domestic abuse, explicit violence. We haven't gotten to that one yet either. Animal death. We've kind of seen that. Hang on. I also gotta send a message really quick. I'm being harassed over the phone. Hang on. There we go. All right. Anyways, let's get back on into it. Cause like yeah, like with the tag being explicit violence and her just having the knife on her, I'm just sitting there like, wait, like please don't. You're the only person who's nice to us. Let's like not have that happen. You can start with just one. They're small enough to come right off the vine and sweet without any sugar. I've been trying so hard to make her feel safe. What if she simply can't manage this, though? Maybe if I'll pretend it's my first time as well. The next berry that I reach for is slower, less certain of where to pinch my fingers and sever the fruit from stalk. It takes another moment, but Elise starts to mirror me. She manages hers a bit, some pulp sticking to her fingers. When she eats it, she almost seems self-conscious, ducking her head down and eating it in a hurry before the juices can drip further than her wrist. A few dark droplets make it to her skirt, but no matter. No going back now. Do you feel something? You were right, it's sweet. Oh my. This is how you all live? Constantly? If it's too much, we can stop. No. It's so much. Everything you said about the forest, I'm feeling it now. I taste it. What else is there? Try this then. The cakes lighten your feet for dancing. Here, I'll break it in half. Whatever you eat, I match you. That way, it stays fair. How long do the effects last? They're meant to carry you through the festivities. Don't believe anyone who claims that you need to double up. I once saw a girl who couldn't set her feet on the ground for a week after eating too many of these. She eats this one so urgently, too. Primhill doesn't. The sister wouldn't. Is it going to imply that she also, like, starves Elise? Is that what I was going to say? Would she? I don't want to ask. Not in this moment. Not when she's laughing. It's the berries, I know. She falls back onto the quilt, her eyes shut in bliss. There's no false at all to her laughter. I don't want to help her up until she lets it all out. Why, Morgaine, you gentlewoman. I couldn't leave you to any grass stains. Morgaine. Would you like to dance? And before I know it, we're pulling each other around the grove, clasping hands and spinning until our vision loses direction, twirling beneath each other's arms, weaving, hopping steps towards each other like dewdrops on a spider's web. I feel carefree. Maybe it's for the first time I can ever remember. Goodness, you weren't exaggerating. I'm absolutely parched. What's in that water skin at your belt? I'm not certain you want to try wine right now. Wine? I'll admit I've never been, inebriated. I know this word. I promise. Inebriated before, but that's not it. It's, well, our wine makes you honest. Honest? So if we both drink a truth for a truth, whatever either of us wishes to know? Alright. The first question that comes to mind. No regretting it, whatever the answer. There's not much more in here than for each of us to have a sip, anyhow. I'd forgotten how heaty it is. Ilse downs it quickly, although I don't think it's from practice. Oh, that's not quite what I expected. I think it's meant to taste better the more that you drink. Go on, then. Have you ever... Are you not afraid of me? It's a simple answer. Of course not. Of course not. Oh my gosh, is that the twist? Are we still afraid of her? Is that why we can't say it? The words don't come. And for that to be the case... No. I can't be afraid. Was it the fight with Dahlia? Yes, that has to be it. That just shook me. Not that either. Then what? I know I'm taking too long to say something again. Elise has to see it. The betrayal of magic. What if there's no version of the truth that I can give her? That's alright. I haven't been certain myself recently. Don't doubt yourself. Don't let anyone make you. You're not a monster for claiming whatever you can from the world, even if it's not what you might have expected. I didn't hear a question in that, Morgaine. Can you tell me a story about the old times? Don't alter it for my sake. Tell me about my people, exactly the way you've heard it. Okay. Once upon a time... Oh, hang on. Water time. Once upon a time, the people of Waldgern answered to gods, and the gods were hungry. Oh, I don't know why, but the description of like hungry gods like made me feel so uneasy. I don't know why that did. Prayers were left to be ignored, a prize cow butchered on the doorsteps, bowls of milk swirled with pink blood, swirled pink with blood. Desperate families offered up their unwanted children, chaining them to the ground when they rejected their purpose. All agreed that to be changed was the kinder fate. If the gods returned them to you, whether they still breathed was inconsequential. Children wept to walk their tattered feet across hard ground. Parents could no longer meet the eye of any within their family. Lovers would scream at the touch of your hand. In such a genealogy was born Ike the Diligent. She lost her sister to a beguiling spring, only finding what bones of hers washed down to the river from the hunting grounds of the gods. Her father went to bed one night, a man, and she found him the next morning as a mass of flesh still bound to his killing tree. And then one day, her lover returned to their home like a lost ghost. She swore that her people would bear no more. Ike's family came from low means, but her lover was a merchant who had traveled far and wide and had gifted her upon their engagement a dagger of foreign metal. Armed with all that remained of her love, Ike ventured into the woods and waited. Some say she brewed a solution to counter anything the gods bade her ingest. Some she cut open her own veins and bled it into the earth, knowing what thirst it would draw. Others that she simply stripped naked and waited to be found. Perhaps all three, perhaps something else entirely. When Ike awoke in the morning, her mind remained her own, as much as her lover's dagger buried within the breast of the dead fae at her side. Ike returned to the hunting ground upon the next full moon. Her lover's blade once more fell, and this time granted Ike a gift greater than vengeance, a vision of what she must do. She spread her tale from village to village, and with it the knowledge that gods could be brought low. And when she slew the Fey Lord who had stalked the boundaries of her family's home until it held only her, she carved her declaration of war from his chest and left him to be found. Human settlements, once isolated and penned like cattle, banded together. A capital of our own rose in the north. What became of Ike as the new balance was weighed is our tale's only mystery. She was last seen leading the charge against the Fae's own Horned Queen, their greatest and most terrible commander. A hero such as Ike would certainly have been proud to sacrifice herself for people's triumph, and indeed, the end of that battle marked the drawing of the boundary pact that keeps the Fae at bay even now. Yet some claim that with her family avenged and their hunters humbled, Ike returned to anonymity. They claim she may very well have lived out the remainder of her days in a once impossible dream, free from terror. Do you see why I asked what I did? Centuries have turned wounds to scars, yes, but you still took so much from us. And we, I suppose, ended anyone's right to divinity. Hearing the story like this, I never wondered if the Faithbreaker had a name, and the Horned Queen could have only been Mother. She always told me that the humans don't comprehend time how we do. I don't think that was all history from centuries ago, though, not hearing how Elise spoke of it. So now you know, all that I ignore every time I do this. You. Suddenly everything I can think of to say sounds like it will just prove her right about the folk, that we didn't want a war of absolutes, that she has no way of knowing her version is what really happened. What response won't lose her forever? I can't think of one before she suddenly grabs for a plum still lying on the quilt, biting into it fiercely enough for the dark juices to spray across her lips. Why should it fall to the two of us to right every wrong? And before I can let myself think twice, I cradle her chin on my fingers, wiping the juice from her soft lips. What did you say this fruit does? I have no idea. We can find out. Oh my gosh! Instead of taking a bite from the plum, I flick my tongue to the droplets on my fingers. Else watches me do it, and I feel a strange sense of obscenity. I feel my little bird circling above us once more. There's a buzz, almost like an itch, running up my spine, spreading along my shoulder blades. The space between me and Elise suddenly feels different. The quilt beneath my hands isn't soft anymore. It itches up through my skin. suddenly rushing through my veins like an embrace. I'm frozen and I need to move. I feel stirring along my muscles, but it's like my brain doesn't know what to do with them. And somehow, I feel a certainty that Elise is experiencing the same. Although how can I know? I can't look her in the eye. The light's changing. The light's changing. Kriemhild won't believe I'm taking this much time. Kriemhild? It's my day to hunt, but it doesn't take me all day. Something isn't right about this, but I already knew that. That's not the face of someone who wants to go home. I still have what I was too cowardly to give her last night. Elise, do you trust me? What? I have here a glamour spell. All you need to do is wear it like a charm. Can you meet me back here tomorrow before sundown? Tomorrow Isn't that your revel? Yes. She touches me then, just running a finger along the length of my ear, pushing back my hair. It's like I suddenly know every way I want to touch her in return. I want to cover her eyes every time she sees a part of me that she might be afraid of. That she ought to be afraid of. I think that I can sneak out. Freshen up the flowers, though. For me? What happens if she's not there? What happens if she's not there, Naira? She didn't seem as certain yesterday. Did you follow her home? How did she seem? Oh, that's the bird's name. I was thinking, like, who the freak is Naira? Did I just blank out a whole section of the story? No, it's our little bird friend. What's worse, Naira? Having nobody to talk to but myself. Or talking to a bird? That's so mean. Alright. Keep flying with me in silence, then. I really wanted Naira to be like, okay, yeah, whatever. Just keep talking down to me. Elise, are you here yet? I picked a fight with Kriemhild, so she'll think I'm sulking in my room. Even if she checks on me an hour from now, what can she do? That's not quite what I had in mind. Now, that glamour you showed me yesterday, how does it work? Is it just cosmetic? Before we do that, it's fine if you'd rather not, but I brought something you might want to wear just in case. Well, yes, that's wise. I shouldn't crawl back through my window wearing the clothes all dirtied from dancing. Right, definitely. You can change behind a tree, I suppose. Right. Just a moment, then. Somehow, I'm still terrified she'll be wise and take this chance to run. It's good to have one more moment, without the sight of her shaping every thought of mine. I'm so scared for how this is going to go. Like, part of me is thinking, like, are we just gonna, like, take her to the revel, and then somehow, like, the charm's just gonna, like, wear off, like, something's just gonna go wrong, maybe someone's gonna, like, knock it off her, maybe it's gonna, like, break, I don't know, something, and then it's gonna get revealed, and then terrible things will happen, like, I don't know, I'm scared. I'm so scared for how this is gonna go. That's the thing, I feel like it's, like, setting up that it can go a lot of ways, but, like, all of them are, like, bad, so I'm just, like, scared of, like, which path of, like, terribleness are we gonna go? Can't trust redheads. Well, hey, that's not what I'm saying. No, because now I've slightly shifted to, like, something bad's going to happen to the redhead, you know? It's not that she's gonna do the bad thing. Sure, that was my theory for the past hour and 23 minutes. But now I'm thinking that something bad's gonna happen to her. Like, again, what if, like, the charm falls off or, like, it's broken or something? Like, I don't know. I'm just scared because I feel there's no way that this is, like, ending happily. So I'm just scared of, like, okay. Again, it's a choose your own adventure, but every path you walk down leads to something bad happening, essentially, is how I'm, like, viewing it right now. But, you know, I still don't really, yeah, I don't really trust her that much. Somehow I'm still terrified she'll be, wait, it's good to have one more moment. Oh, already read that too. Nice. Wait, there we go. Morgane, I appreciate the kindness, but I don't know about this dress. Oh, does it not fit? It does? I can hear her inhale from yards away. She steps back into the grove with her fists bunched into her pale skirts, her head lowered as I see. Ah. The neckline is lower than even her nightgowns, and the sleeves shorter than any I've seen her wear. Lurid violet fades into rings of pink and trust me, guys, I know how to read. Across her collarbone and arms. We're just skipping that word, that's all. It's not a revelation anymore, but I didn't see the full of it in that night in her cottage. And she did say that she picked a fight with her sister. The glamour, right. To use it. Do you mind if I touch you? She hesitates. She hesitates. One more way of reminding me that I only have an idea of what to do. But when she steps forward, I crush the charm between my fingers and bring it to my mouth. With a breath of intent, I have to trust in my own will. I've only seen Mother make these charms, not how they're actually cast, but it's about seeing what you want to see. I want Elise to be unhurt. If she's only enchanted to look like one of the folk, will she still be wounded so easily? I start with her left shoulder. I'd feel less alarmed to have someone lay their hands there, wouldn't I? My hands hover above it for a long moment. It would be easier if magic could be absorbed that way, through space and will, and no touch was necessary. I hold my breath when my fingers meet her skin, and she exhales as I hold us both in place. Mend. I've watched Mother heal other folk in 100 different ways. The magic wants more than memory, though. I can't fix Elise without feeling her, the alien bumps that rise along her skin, a scent shared between us that I can only describe as a cold heat. These are normal human sensations? I slowly slide my hand down the length of where the bruises cover her arm. I can't cut myself off from this tether, no matter how it tries to seize me. Careful, some are still sensitive. Clearly I'm doing something wrong. I just don't know what. How cruel will I seem though, offering her a hope like the Revel, and then failing to give it to her. Maybe you can help me? Help? How would I? It's just an idea, but no, I'm not imagining it. My magic works better when you're involved. I just need you to think about these bruises going away, and about yourself as one of us. Well, I've let it slip that I'm not quite the all-powerful child of gods. What if her disappointment is less for the Revel and just for me? She lays her hand over where mine still covers one of the larger bruises. Don't erase all of them if it's too much. Focus more on my face or whatever else the glamour is for. It's a bit strange, touching her, but not exactly. Her hand is the one that guides mine up the angles of her face. Delicately presses her eyes closed, winding pieces of her hair around my fingers and teasing points out of her ears. I see now what was wrong before. I was afraid to picture her physically in the way the spell needs. It's changing nothing deeper than her flesh, but I still have to shape the glamour around every freckle and mark, where it's slightly paler, where clothes usually cover it, what's shaped differently in her than is in me. We move more quickly over her chest, and finish with a sweep down her right arm that leaves me huffing harder than I thought. Maybe the magic did take some small toll from Elise too, for the quickening of her own breath. I didn't let myself look at the picture in progress, more than making sure it was changing. But now... Oh, nice! We did it! Let's go! I was scared like there was like, I don't know, something was going to be like wrong with it. A part of me sees what I know as Elise, but laid over the face I've come to know. She's almost a fairer mirror. Ears the same length and sharpness as mine, and horns. Why horns? Is that an endowment my magic gave her? How do you feel? She touches a hand to her chest, halfway to wincing, and flans it across a smooth skin when pain never comes. Like someone different. You are tonight, whoever you'd like to be. It's still true. This is all I can give her for now. But if she ever said it out loud? No, not even. Let Grimhild come hunting in the wood one day, and see who greets her. Here, the berries. Oh, this is a jam! Oh my gosh, let's go! With every step closer to the lungs, I wait for fear. Elsa is barely even following me though, matching my pace so determined that her fists are bunched back at her sides. She's not afraid. So why should I be? Either of my own people. I know we're growing close when my wreath begins appearing, nailed at every second or third tree we pass. I do stop to brush a finger over one woven stalks, and I feel it. A flutter of response. It can finally take a bit of my magic with everyone else's. The heady crackle of it already thickening on the air. It's all that outruns the music. The folk are not idle when it comes to our music. When our magic grows too overwhelming to be contained to a command, the rest blossoms into a song. A song is something to be savored, the last suck of marrow from the bone. Its simple strikes now, measured beats. They waver on the air with a promise that I wonder if Elise can hear, a call to gather. This isn't my first revel, of course, but it's hers. That sends a different rush through me, that I'll be able to watch her and see her. She'll shine. Our hands will stay locked together like this, and she'll come the closest she ever will to magic. Alright. Thank you for preparing me. This would have been too much if you hadn't. You feel like yourself? Well, of course not. That's what's beautiful. What's the point of formalities? I've seen every one of the folk around us each day for 18 years, and no revel greetings will change how I'm received by any of them, any other day or night. When we first step into the circle that's forming in the lungs, though, I expect every head to turn our way. Who wouldn't wonder how they'd spend every day of eternity and not noticing this radiant folk woman dressed in shades of the sunrise? Then I see her, Dahlia, literally glowing from the golden powder speckled over her skin, halts in her conversation with several of her mountain folk kin for just a moment. Her eyes narrow on me. I didn't even think about the fact that, like, Dahlia might be able to just recognize her. I didn't think that far ahead. Her eyes narrow on me at least, before she emptily laughs at a companion's story. We've kept well out of each other's ways since. I'm not sure what's more vivid in my memory, the words we said to each other, or the failed seduction. It's not as if I'm planning on letting Elise out of my sight, but... That woman, there in the red dress, you don't want any business with her. More so than any other fae leading me astray into the woods? We have history. I spend so much time on my lonesome in the wood. It's easy to forget what a proper gathering of the folk feels like. Failed seduction, hey yo. Listen, she simply just didn't roll high enough. Her charisma stat wasn't as high as she thought it was. Either that or she just rolls as poorly as I do. But, you know, to be fair, to give props to Dahlia, it almost worked. It almost got us. I do like that that's how, like, she put it, though, as if she wasn't about to crumble in Dahlia's hands, though. What could Elise even compare it to? The largest crowd she could possibly have been in still wouldn't have anyone with strips of fur down their spines, extra digits to their fingers and toes, cloven hooves, and sharpened talons. The lungs is no small wooded hollow, but anywhere the rising moon's light can break through the trees. 5 folk are practically climbing on top of each other to feel its brightest. The food and wine are already taking their effects. Best not let anyone else outpace us. Ill Sips is as measured and dainty as from my water skin back in the grove, but that sliver of Dahlia's attention knocked something in me ajar. When she kissed me, when she fell right back into the script of our old dalliances? Dalliances, yep, that's definitely it. I need to be more game that Dahlia can't expect anything from tonight. I barely taste the wine. It goes down my throat so quickly. Oh, this is so pretty looking. Mother will have to make an appearance sometime tonight, but still too early for her to be forced by duty from the cottage. The folk who led this first proper dance are among the oldest of the old who we remain, and it's not one that wills me too much more than tapping my foot against the grass. I promised Elise a night like no other, not this. There we go. Oh, let's go. Oh, let's go. This is a jam too. Oh. The next dance is for younger women. The beating percussion quickening and joining up with softly clamoring bells. Follow my lead. You'll learn it like a natural. It does sound a bit like something from home. Look at them. They're so cute. Oh my gosh. Wait. Yes, it's a dance for young women. So as soon as Elise and I join the edge of the crowd, Dahlia does the same. Be careful with this part. The rhythm... Oh my gosh, is Dahlia gonna, like, somehow remove the glamour? Is that what's gonna happen? Oh no. Oh, please don't. Be careful with this part. The rhythm changes suddenly in the chorus. Then just lift your arms and... I think I'm starting to find it. Connect my hands at the arch. And then back down. Yes! Even when the dance partners switch, I make sure to keep sight of her. Elise is taking to this better than I could have ever expected. The dancers around her fall into her thrall, too charmed by her smile and light feet to think too hard about whether they've actually seen her face before. I knew it, of course, but seeing the picture from my mind take flesh so perfectly. She's charmed them all within 3 choruses, the first human to grace a folk revel in what might be centuries. The dancing, as with the music, also serves a purpose. The full moon makes this year's midsummer even more potent, and combined with the cakes and wine, magic is already starting to slough off folk like an oversized dressing gown. The music quickens again, a lyre picking up from the bells. I'm less sure where the pull of bodies around me is coming from, whether we all move as one, or if this is how the lungs got its nickname. And the woods, oh, I like that. I like that a lot. The talking about how the lungs got its name. And the woods is what's breathing, trying to gas us back to our full power. Especially with like how like Elise was talking about like how like she described Morgaine's effect on the woods, like things like closing in or like breathing or spreading out like that. Like, I don't know. It feels like that's like the effect that they're having. Something tickles the soles of my feet when I bring them up and set them back down. Elise catches my arm, and in a surge of selfishness, I pull her closer. Look at the ground. Did I do that? Watching the path of my feet instead of letting the dance carry them is harder than it seems. Elise and I stumble together, her shoulder colliding with my chest. And we both look down and then back at each other, with equally silly grins. Small patches of flower are blooming everywhere my feet land. Tomorrow, someone will be able to trace every dance between me and Elise. 2 girls lost in the revel, leaving a memory that can only be ours. Song after song after song. Elise's breath starts to come heavier, heaving into every step, but she never shows a sign of wanting to stop. She leans into when the harmony of twin fiddles saws its presence through the night. A need so naked that it spelled clear as any command of magic. And I wish that there was a way that a body could meld into a song, and its sounds could be all the flesh and blood it needed. Elise? What, Morgaine? It's not funny really, but for what felt like a moment there, I started to forget about you. Is it the song? I felt like I was all that... That was also weird with the music where I started back up and then immediately ended. Whereas all that existed in this entire forest. I didn't mean to do that, there we go. I saved this from yesterday. Do you want to try it again? I couldn't bring myself to finish off the plum Elise bit into after her story. I had the sense. Maybe the timing just wasn't right. Do you think... I don't want to think right now. Do you feel differently? No, we're of exactly the same mind, you and I. The way she bites into the fruit is the same as before. More like watching a wolf tear meat from the bone. I try to match her as I watch her throat swell, my teeth just overlapping the ridge of where hers pierced the plum's flesh. Sweet then sour. The same effect takes hold faster than before, although I still can't describe what it is. It's like the haze of wild magic swirling around us. Oh no, she's gonna turn someone into a potted plant by accident. Please, no! When the moonlight hits my face and makes me feel like the storm-calling folk of old. Maybe this feeling is infinity, or wanting it. Dance with me, Morgaine. We take hold of each other more fiercely than before, Elise's fingertips digging into my wrists. I shift one hand to her wrist, tethering us together as the dance pulses around us. That zinging sensation beneath my skin is stronger, like some baser creature is trying to tear out of the prison of my flesh. Maybe it's me. Elise really is a quick study. This dance stomps, swerves, tries to blur your up from down. She holds our gazes together, what feels like a command not to falter. I know that look. What are you trying to not to think about? What's right in front of me? Something heavier than understanding enters her eyes. As she presses our bodies closer, her hand cautiously brushes my neck. This isn't the night, or the girl, for caution. I want to drink her, open her up, and know the taste of her secrets. I want every one of the folk in the world to have no illusion of what we are. If she sees all this in me and isn't afraid, I push a strand of her hair back, and just that soft brush of fingertip against the shell of her ear, she makes a little gasp of a sound and leans upwards. When our lips first meet, it feels like its own test, having to guarantee some invisible veil won't fall between us and stop human and folk from longing this openly. We pull back from the sheer shock of it, I think. Then she gasps again, her breath hot against my lips. Dahlia didn't make fun of how we would kiss. But she always wanted me softer. I tried to take control too quickly, went right from the introduction to needing as much of her as I could bear. So I try to hold back, to be, what did Elise call me? That gave me a little thrill? A gentle woman? She gives way against me though, no more pretense of keeping any space between us. I lick the last of the plum's juice from her lips and kiss her how I've been famished to. Something happens when her hand cradles the nape of my neck, her fingers teasing the ridge of my spine, and all the world stops except for the music's beating drums. All the shivering sparks I feel from the fruit and dancing. They collide in my chest, exploding through me. There's something moving beneath the muscles of my back. My body feels so limited, even as I use all of it to grab hold of Elise. Does she feel it too? Whatever this magic created as it squirms under my skin. Would she want that too? As I think it, she runs her hand right over the pulse of it, the center of my back right against the blades of her shoulders. I faintly hear a sound like ripping fabric, but wetter. The push of something demanding to grow forth, and then wait. Hang on, I think I need to reread this really quick. As I think it, she runs her hand right over the pulse of it, the center of my back, right between the blades of my shoulders. I faintly hear a sound like ripping fabric, but wetter. The push of something demanding to grow forth, and then the feeling. A bit of pain, yes, but all at once, something of me is taking up more space. Tell me it's like something like she grew like wings or something. Maybe it's just that. Wait, hang on. I need to make this, the thing that you sent bigger. Is that Ruby kiss a wormy? That is, that's not too far off from what happened, I see the vision. Oh, I'm so scared to keep reading. I hope it's just something like wings or something. There's a sensation almost like tickling across my chest as well, and I look down as Elise gasps and pulls my hand back from it. Feathers? Regain, you... Look, okay, it was just wings, okay. Woo-hoo. Over your shoulder. She's not the only one noticing. Whatever's happened to me. I look. Wings. Half folded behind me, a pair of shining black wings nearly the same height as me. They pull slightly at my back, shifting my posture. New sensations, muscles, nerve endings, all suddenly grafted onto my former awareness of my body. I think. Flap? They unfurl faster than I realize, and the folk nearest me have to stumble out of the way. More are stopping in their dance as they notice me, but the music keeps going, an odd dissonance. I flex my shoulders back, let the movement carry into the wings, and sure enough, they answer to me. Elise, So this is you, one of the Fae. She's right. This is my endowment, the reflection of my magic that manifests for every matured folk. And just like before, I have Elise to thank for it finally coming forth. Thank you, Elise, thank you. I can't help it, I kiss her again. More of the folk resume their festivities, giving us a bit more space. I feel a shift though. Regard is something that changes the air. That air has never been so light. In every sense, this is where I belong. Morgane. Mother. I hadn't even thought about... Well, I have more reasons than usual... Hang on. I haven't even thought about... Well, I've had more reasons than usual recently to avoid Mother. Speaking of which... Elise has already made herself scarce, and why wouldn't she? This is the Horned Queen of her childhood nightmares. And she just heard me call her Mother. You've come onto your own, I see. Yes, it hasn't been for long, but... You ought to have told me that you've accessed your magic. I was going to help you when you did. She actually looks upset. Is it that black and white in her mind? Holding her daughter at arm's length for years over something I couldn't even control, and now everything is supposed to just be... fine? And now everyone around us is stopping with Mother's arrival. She's supposed to sing the most important of the enchantments, say some words about maintaining the peace, but... Is my part the dutiful apprentice now? Funny, just a handful of weeks ago, I would have longed for that. I've managed on my own so far. Yes, I can see that. Even so, our power requires a firm hand, someone who understands. Oh, no, what happened? No, that sounds like... I'm not really thinking as I spread my new wings again, where alarm turns a running start towards that sound, into me lifting off the ground. It's far from graceful, but it carries me above the panic that starts. I'm the first one that makes it to her, and I see Elise standing upright with wide eyes. There's blood. The bodice of her dress is drenched in it, and I can hear how oh, not the blood splattering around the page's edges. Oh my gosh, stop. The bodice of her dress is drenched in it, and I can hear how frantically her heart is pumping. But there's no sound coming from her. What's she holding in her hand? Regain, Wait. She flees back into the woods before I can reach for her. When I move to follow her, my foot knocks into... What? Who? Oh no, Dahlia? She's not screaming anymore, but even lying curled up on the ground, I see how much blood she's covered in. Her hands are clamped over her face, and what little sound she's making now can barely even be called whimpers. There's something other than blood on what I can see of her face. It looks... paler. Thicker. Morgaine, what is it? Move aside. Mother, I know her. Let me help. Wait, there's something sticking out from between Dahlia's fingers. It looks like... Morgaine, do you have any empty collecting vials in your bag right now? What? Vials? I think so. I need 2 of them. Don't just stand there. If you want to help her, it needs to be now. Whoever put her eye out... Oh my gosh. Whoever put her eye out did so with an old human weapon. Daggers like these were only forged for the purpose of killing folk. Her eye? If she left her dagger behind... Was that what Elise was... This has to be a misunderstanding somehow. Maybe Dahlia just got jealous and Elise overreacted. That's kind of what I was like. I was going to be like, hey guys, maybe let's give her the benefit of the doubt before we, like, you know, say she just tried to murder someone. Like, maybe, like, Dahlia was like, I don't know, coming after her or something. I don't know. Copium, right? just pure copium right now. You can't just stand there in times like this if you want your magic to be of any use. The vials, now. Yes, Mother? Watch carefully and hope that you never have to use this sort of spell yourself. Mother, how many times has she done this before to stay so calm? She crushes some sort of flower. From the glimpse I see of red and white, I think it's... I know how to say that word in my brain, but I can't. Petals. There we go. Don't say the flower. Then she slices open the pad of her thumb on the tip of her horn, and it bleeds into the 2 small vials that clatter together in my shaking hands as I offer them to her. When she takes out a smaller knife of her own and brings it to Dahlia's arm. No, don't hurt her any further. I'm not. This is our only chance at sparing her life. Is Dahlia even still breathing? There's a little bit, but... Mother is right. She doesn't have much longer. She does the same thing with Dahlia's blood into... She does the same thing with Dahlia's blood into the vials. But before sealing either of them, she... Don't look so horrified. Blood magic is unpleasant by design. And with that, she swallows a sip of what precious little blood Dahlia has left. When she drinks the second vial of their combined blood into Dahlia's mouth, I can't stomach it. As I told you, Morgaine, pray that you never have to wield more than flowers. This is wartime magic. The slumber that it puts her into isn't meant for longer than a few days, but it will suspend her in this state long enough for me to properly heal her without worsening the damage. Only I can wake her by drinking the rest of the blood, or someone else could make her do the same if I somehow waylaid my vial. Now, did you see who attacked her? A human shouldn't have made it this deep into the woods on their own, but I'm loath to suspect a kinsfolk. No, they were already running off by the time I got here. I have to... There's some explanation for this that I just haven't figured out yet. The Elise I know, she wouldn't do this. Her hand was forced somehow, I know it. But that look in her eyes, and why would she have a dagger? That's only purpose is... In all times we've met, she's never hurt me. There has to be something I'm not understanding, or... Was Elise planning this all along? I should not have done this, Naira. There's not a single reason I should be waiting at the edge of the wood, hoping Mother believed that I'm just gathering the plants we'll need to try and save Dahlia's... Gathering plants. The same excuse I used every time I snuck out to visit Elise. Helpless in... What? Loneliness? Love? It feels like I shouldn't even be thinking that right now, but... When I told myself that I wanted her secrets, this wasn't one that I would have expected. What's even my plan here, Naira? Corner her when she comes outside again? Break in and demand... Dahlia's eye? I can't get what was left of it. I can't get what was left of it. Not even... Whoever pictures that being all that makes up an eye. Mother made me clean her face before I slipped off. Breathe, damn it, breathe. My answer's the same as it was an hour ago. Elise, we're not leaving. Aren't you always telling me how I'm a child? How else should I describe the way you're acting, Kramilde? Do you think it was easy for me? What sort of sister does what you've done? Lying to her own family, taking their rightful chances, it seems that was all easy enough for you. It's not as if you had it's not as if you've had made your move in 6 months. I found a Fae and claimed a trophy in just a few weeks, so maybe I deserve the throne. Did you see it that way? What? The throne? Surely with nothing more than your girlish wiles and sheer luck, and not any of the notes and research you spent years spying on over my shoulder. No, it wasn't like that. Elise, what exactly did you do? Well, what was all the combat training you were giving me for if I wasn't meant to use it? Any young woman, let alone a princess, should be able to defend herself, especially when the younger's role is to be married off to some stranger for the sake of an alliance. The test that Father gave you was to kill a Fae and bring back proof, so I don't see why you're so upset that I managed it first, when you're the one who insisted on bringing me along. Do you really think being 2 years older automatically means you deserve to be queen more? I deserve it because I've spent half of your life being mother. And I don't like what this is going at all. And it only makes all of those years fair if I can finally have her other title. I'm sorry for destroying your life that much, and I suppose you'll just think of this as one more way. A sound cuts her off. One I don't want to admit that I've imagined. Short, sharp, and the precise strike of a hand, shot up before the person making the strike even realize what's happening. Before the person making the strike even realizes what they're doing. You've been wanting to do that for a long time, haven't you? Elise, Elise, I'm sorry. Footsteps rushed towards me. I realized I'd moved like I was going to throw the front door open. It's the same camouflage spell that I use when Elise flings it open instead, cradling one hand to her reddened cheek and looking as devastated as I felt since last night. She sinks to her knees right there in the grass and gives a closed-mouthed wail that makes every bit of magic within me sing to comfort her. But she's devastated about... what? Lying to me or her sister? I look at her like this. Still a human girl I held in my arms and kissed hard enough to transform into something new. And someone who realized I don't know at all. I feel... Morgane, are you here? I want to go to her. I can't. Dahlia, can I talk to you? Look at you. I never thought that I'd be better off than you. You're here, stuck under that spell Mother cast on you. And would you know, it's terrible for me too? I don't know what happens that ended with you. I don't know what happened that ended with you like this. You're asleep. You shouldn't look like that. No, I don't know. I wasn't looking out enough, and now you're like this. And Elise... Elise... You couldn't leave well enough alone, could you? You never could. Was it seeing her or me? She's no different from how I was back then, really. I was surprised when you stayed my friend, even after you fully changed. That was what really bonded us, wasn't it? The first time that we kissed is more than what I thought one of the folk would do. It's your first time too, wasn't it? You were so confident, and I just missed every signal, overlooked every little touch until you had to grab my face the night up in the pine tree and kiss me. Well, no, I don't think that's true. I let you think that I was so naive. When I realized maybe we could be something more, I liked your attention. I felt how your eyes followed me everywhere we went. I knew it made you feel so hopeless when I ignored your hand brushing mine, when I laughed off your flirting. I never had that before. Someone who wanted me. And I never been a person who could decide how much to give someone. I want you too, I really did. But the folk have always loved you. The first changeling in decades, and you changed so well. Do you know how it feels to realize you have power for the first time in your life, and over someone who's everything you're supposed to be? I was stupid, I know. Saying it out loud, I feel... I do know what I was thinking. I couldn't even explain myself. I couldn't even explain myself to you without you having to be half dead in front of me first. I'm being a real coward now. I'm being a real coward now, Dahlia. This is what that actually sounds like from me. When I did decide to leave and to be loved, I didn't realize how badly I'd hurt myself denying you like that. You wanted me so much by that point, I fell completely into you. I would go for walks in the woods at any time of day or night, and just suddenly think, there's someone in this world who loves me. I had to always be by your side so I could remember that. It's no wonder you stopped liking what you saw once I reached that point. I thought, after you ended things, so that's love. I was fine with learning that from you. I didn't trust myself not to do the same things all over again if another girl somehow looked my way. Was that really what bothered you about Elise? Because with her, I'm more confused. Of course I thought she was beautiful. I can't say there weren't signs. Oh no. I did do it all again, didn't I? But I couldn't have guessed. Well, I'm sorry about your eye. I don't know what that was. I saw her with a dagger before, and I didn't know. She never tried to hurt me. That I know of. I can't bear it, Dahlia. If there's no way that I can have love without someone getting hurt, it means all the folk have been right about me. That I'm just wrong. But you do deserve to know. I met a human girl on the boundary in the woods. Maybe you are right, and some part of me was beguiling her all along. I found my magic and used it to sneak her into our most sacred festival, and with minutes of me realizing that maybe I love her, she tried to kill you with a weapon of our worst enemies. Which makes this my fault, really. You shouldn't be sleeping halfway towards death if I hadn't started wanting. Is that so? Mother! I'm not a fool, Morgaine. I knew about the human girl. I smelled her on you the day you first met her. I just didn't think you'd be rash enough to bring her all the way into our fold. Mother, I can explain. Can you? I believe that I just heard the most honest version. You can have those wings on your back now, Morgaine, but I knew you were still a child. I could only warn you in words so much. I thought, let it all happen again, and she'll learn as I did. Though I admit there was a higher cost than I hoped to pay. As you did? There's only one more story for you to hear, and hear it you will. Do you know what it really takes to bring down a god? The god must open their arms to weakness. Hunger, some call it, as if it's so simple a craving. When it happened to me, I called it love. Ike was... curious. Not like the humans that had been described to me, or any who I danced with at a revel. We carried on for nearly a year, long enough for me to believe that I knew her. She never told me of her lost family and loved ones. I didn't guess at all to her vengefulness until I woke by her side one evening, for trying to saw my horn from my head. Some human superstition, I believe, that if you steal something from a folk's body, it will grant you their power. I was more than humiliated. If the folk were to ever learn of the role I played in our downfall, in a sense, I did give Aika power. She forged the first of those accursed daggers from the stolen fragment of my horn. Certainly, I would exile from these lands any of our kind whose betrayal was so complete. So yes, I know what it is to love a human. All the muck and mire that's darkening your heart right now, it always ends this way. I had planned to step in and deal with her myself when she inevitably turned on you, but... Stop talking. I understand. It's not the picture I've ever presented of myself to you before. You think that's... You absolute hypocrite! What could there possibly be for you to teach me? There's nothing I want to learn from someone who sets their child up to be sacrificed just to teach them a lesson. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. No, definitely not Mother of the Year, I won't lie. I cannot deny that a fair description of my actions, however. That's fair? That's all you have to say? What about, I could have done anything differently? If you're truly all about history repeating itself, then you know. I think that Dahlia was nearly killed because of the same empty belief that your Ike had. Something that could have been cleared up long ago if you had insisted on keeping the folk isolated. She's done far more wrong than I have. She's right. She doesn't deserve to call any of this realm home. Yet I'm the one who can't get far enough away from her. I don't care where I go. There's nothing left for me at all in the woods. Maybe I'll fly west to the mountains, or see for myself how far the ocean stretches. See if I keep making the same mistake somewhere there's no folk at all. Naira, where have you... What's that you're holding in your talons? Flowers? But I'm not gonna lie, I thought that Naira was her mom. That's what I was thinking the whole time. But that doesn't look like a bouquet. Oh. They're far from... Oh, is it the crown? They're far from full bloom. How long ago did Elise and I make this crown? What was she planning even then? But she's the only one who could have sent this back to me. It has to mean something. Something is tucked between two of the strands. A note? Morgane, please let me explain. Meet me in the grove this evening. No weapons, no magic. I meant as much of what I said to you as I thought I could. If you can believe that, please come. Mother was betrayed and chose war, isolation. I'm not her. I won't be. I've still got some of Elise's flowers in my hair. Naira, fly these back to her, please. I'm coming for you one more time, Elise. Please. Okay, so, like, if I was her... If I was Morgane, I think I'd be willing to say, like, go to this meeting. But specifically, now that I have wings, I'd be like, alright, I'm staying up here and you're staying down there. Talk. You know? I would never, ever, like, get close enough that she could reach me until she had fully explained herself to a point where I thought it satisfactory, I guess. If that makes sense. Please have a reason that gives us all a purpose. I'm here, Elise, if you are too. Please, please just show yourself. Elise? Oh, Morgane. Elise, where are you? Morgane, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't see her at first. She's standing halfway in the trees and hanging her head down. Is this like an ambush? Is that what this is? Are we about to get ambushed? This is why we should have stayed in the air. We have wings. We have wings, please. She asked me to come, but she cannot even stand the sight of me. Except, it looks like there's something in her hands. Something dark. Kremhold made me do it. I only thought it right to bring her back to you. Oh! Wait. Her hands cradle Naira's limp body, and when I move closer, I can see that my friend's head is snapped at an unnatural angle? Wait, hang on, what is happening? Some phantom sensation prickles down my spine through my wings. I use them to partially fly here, but they're still so new. Why didn't I realize how similar they look to Naira's? Kremhild made her do it, she says. But can I believe that any more than... Give her back to me. Go on then. Explain whatever you want. You didn't make the greatest entrance. Alright, well, there's no easy way to say it. Kriemhild and I aren't any two ordinary humans. Our father is the king. So I've been swooning over royalty this entire time. I overheard Kriemhild call her a princess, but he's obsessed with the Fae and your magic. When I was born, he was even meant to offer me up as a changeling, but my mother died giving birth to me. She made him swear that he would raise me and Kriemhild as ordinary sisters. I don't know when exactly he started to plan it, but several months ago, he told Kriemhild that if she wanted to succeed him on the throne, he had come up with a task for her. She needed to venture into this forest, the last domain of the once mighty Fae, and bring him back proof that he had met and bested one of you. I don't know why she wanted for me to come along. Our relationship was better when we were younger, until around when I was 9 or 10, and then something changed about her. Maybe I seemed less of a child by then. She always treated me like a sister, but she'd kept me at arm's length for years by that point. I said that I would go with her, in part because I missed her company, but also because, well, a kingdom only has so many uses for a spare heir. I am 18 and I held no illusions about my father's plans for me. My mother was a countess from a land north of here, and I can serve as just as much of a return on some other alliance. But I don't want that. I want love. When we arrived at the cottage, Kriemhild took after our father quite well. She pored over centuries of journals and accounts of the Fae. She needed to plan her course of action down to the last detail. Except 1 month turned into 2, then 3. I almost got the sense that she was stalling, even though one thing I've never known her to have is nerves. And then I had a thought. Father issued the task to Kriemhild, but could I alter my fate if I somehow... But what about your bruises? You don't have to defend Kriemhild anymore just because she's your sister. All of them are from her training me to fight. She's a harsh teacher, pragmatic to a fault, but not cruel. Betraying her would have been much easier if she were cruel. Yet you still did. You don't understand. You're going to live forever. You have magic. You literally have wings. Me, I played research assistant in the forest for a few months, watched my sister hesitate at the thought of ruling an entire realm, and then have a lifetime to look forward to of being married off to some strange duke or princess. Acting like Kriemhild could is the closest chance I've ever had in life to saying no to that. And what was I then? How long were you batting your eyes at me while planning how you would slit my throat? Did you ever consider how I could have helped you? How, Morgane? Please tell me how. I'm too old now to be a changeling. Would your plan have been to keep casting the glamour on me every single night and hope nobody ever realized I was a strange face or wondered why I didn't use any magic of my own? Face it, Morgane. There's no world for feelings like ours. And you don't know what cruelness you showed... And you don't know what cruelness you showed me, making me hope that there might be one. That's... Alright, sure, put the blame on us, I don't know, whatever. So that's it? We shared a few kisses, went against every rule and instinct that's been pounded into our manners, and now we just leave it all here? Take it from someone who ruined her own first love, Elise. If any of what was real for you, you're going to spend the rest of your life remembering this grove, and these words we're saying now. And every time you do, you're going to be the Elise that you are now all over again, screaming at her from the other side of whatever choice you think you're making to choose something else. Kriemhild told me something else too, after we fought over what I'd done. She said there's a way that I can make it right for both of us. Both of us? What can that possibly mean? Gosh darn it, come on, I knew it was coming! I knew the ambush was coming! I don't see whatever shoots out of the growth until the intrusion of something in my body that shouldn't be. A tug on my shoulder, except more like it's connected to my shoulder, and it's only when I try to flex my wing that pain erupts. All that talk about how much I hesitate, but it matters once the crossbow's in your hands. That's enough talking things out, Elise, and don't go begging me for any more time. Whatever she shot through my wing, I'm pinned to the tree Elise got me in front of. It's no pain like I felt before. The wing almost feels disconnected from the rest of me, until I try to pull free again, and every bit of skin, muscle, and bone that's been pierced through howls, trying to heal itself around the fitting and around the object and failing. When I squirm and then spasm more, when that widens the entry wound, wet warmth trickles down my wings, clumping through the feathers in its path. I try to lay my hand on the... Excuse me, that was a tiny little burp. And breathe. Right, hang on. I kept reading in my head. I try to lay my hand on the trunk and breathe. But no, it's like before when I was completely powerless. Pain is supposed to...
rated my stream with 2
viewers. Hello! How's it going, Justerfly? How's it going, Suzume? How's it going, Possum? How are you guys? How was your stream? What were you guys up to? Also, get crossbow bolted. Yes, exactly. Also, if you can't stay around because you just got done streaming, or if you need to take a break or anything, don't feel like the need to stay around. But if you want to, I would absolutely appreciate that for happening. I would love to have you guys. Welcome, Raiders. Yes, welcome. Oh, a fun, great time to raid in. I was karaokeing. Oh, how was that? That sounds like a great time. How was it? Oh yeah, no, what a great time to be raiding in as we're being shot, as we were just ambushed. I was sitting here just going, yeah, no, of course this was gonna happen. I was hoping it wouldn't, but it is. 'Twas fun. That's awesome to hear. Get toxic lesbian. get toxic lesbianismed. Yeah, Ivan Kremhill just over there like... No, for real, she shoots at them and was like, listen, you've been talking, you've been yapping way too much. I'm bored, I want to shoot something. Lexi did warn... No, you're right. You're right, we were warned. And then even the game itself literally starts off with, hey, toxic lesbianism, haha, fun. And then, like, we talked about earlier in the stream, but I've just been waiting. I've been waiting for the toxic lesbian stuff to happen. I've just been waiting so long, and now it is. But there was a small part of me. That's like, is this gonna like turn into like some like just toxic relationship? Like, where's this going? Like, are we gonna try and make this work? And then as soon as I was about to voice that thought, we got shot. I'm like, oh no. Oh no, we're either dying right here or being taken prisoner. So either way, I'm not happy. But it's like, fun, dude. But hey, I like Kremhild's design. That's a thing, I guess. I like her hair, and I respect the glasses gang. I guess. not the person I want to join the club after what she just did, but you know, she's there, I guess. But yeah, no, it's pain. Again, best time to raid in when we're dying. So, thank you guys all for coming in. Let's get back into Glasses base. Glasses are based. She's more base for having it, but those are the only base points she gets. Considering what's happening right now. If she didn't do this, I'd be like, oh, look at her. She's so cool, haha. But no, I can't. I refuse to like her. So, let's get back into being shot. I'm scared and kind of trying to stall, but we need to continue. Because I'm just, again, like, if this is going to turn into, like, a kidnapping situation, or if they are just going to murder us, I'm like, I don't know which one I feel like would be worse, I guess. Had to give her glasses to redeem her a little bit. Exactly. Or, like, we're going to make a monster... But she's gonna be a part of the gang. She's gonna be a little cute, you know? Otherwise, she'd just be a monster completely, you know? They had to do something to make her not, like, the worst person. She's just a 9 out of 10 on the awful scale, you know? Like, oh no, wait. What's his name? From Without a Voice. Isn't it Alexander? Doesn't he also have glasses? And he's also a horribly toxic sibling? Oh no, what does that make me? Oh no, what does that say about the glasses gang? Not the older brother guy. No, but it's so true. Whenever, in any of these games, whenever an older sibling gets introduced, specifically the older siblings, gets introduced with glasses, they're always so awful. And I'm an older sibling with glasses. Alexander, the twin who loved his sister. Yes, and we'll leave it there. We don't need to expand further on that. Oh, I hate this trend. This is not a trend I'm happy to be a part of. No, I don't like this at all. I don't like this trend. Pain is supposed to be a felt sense, but this thing that's torn through my skin and split apart muscles is stealing my hearing, my sight. Wincest A. No, stop. No. Oh my gosh, hang on. Really quick, speaking of that, I saw a clip. I've never actually watched Supernatural, but I want to so bad because it's all over my TikTok. And I didn't realize that they talked about how Wincest is a thing in universe. There's a scene in Supernatural where the two brothers, Dean and Sam or whatever their names are like on the internet being like, wait, what does this Dean/Sam thing mean? And then one of them's like, oh, I think that's us like together. And then they're like, don't they know we're brothers? And it's like, oh no, it became so popular the show's aware of it. Oh no. Bender, evil older sibling arc inbound. I know, when is that gonna happen? When's that shoe gonna drop? I feel so bad for my siblings. I don't... What horrible things I'm gonna make them do? Oh no. It's okay, I just need to stay away from them and then I can't be an evil older sibling. Oh yes, the episode where the character got oh wait, they get transported to the real world to find a plot device? I didn't realize that was happening. I'd never seen it. That's so funny. I kind of love that a lot. That they're like, you know what? These people want the siblings to kiss so bad, we're gonna have them transported to the real world and be like, no, that's gross. Stop wanting us to smooch in the show, please. I respect that. I respect that with my full heart. It's through a haze of screaming nerve endings that I see Kriemhild press a familiar dagger into Elise's hand. Take all the time you need. That crossbow bolt is made of the same stuff as this dagger. Don't smile. That is like the most like... I was be like, oh, she looks so satisfied with herself. But don't smile like that when you're talking about her torturing and ripping us apart. Please don't. Go on, Elise. Just like we decided. 2 trophies that our dear father, for that dear father of ours, and then we share the throne. Kriemhild, I just think I already took my trophy. Shouldn't you be the one to... Even after our heart-to-heart, you don't understand the lesson here, Elise. I try and thrash again as she takes the hand of Elise's that's holding the dagger, and jerks it up to the level of my throat. The pain is only getting worse, the rest of my body responding to a delayed call of alarm now. There's a sense that one of us knows very well, and one of us has been sheltered enough to never know. It's your turn to look someone you love in the eyes and decide to lose a bit of yourself over them. I don't want to do this again, Kriemhild. No. Brigade, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But then... Well, then don't stab us. How about that? How about don't stab us? That sense Elise described, heralding me all those times were met. I feel it this time. Within an instant, a sound builds through the wood, rising, like a clamor of out-of-tune bird songs into a roar. The tree I'm pinned to rattles, and my body with it, another wave of pain tearing through my wing. I feel the eyes of the oldest trees allaying me in their sights, and I am nothing. It's all the announcing that Mother gives herself. The woods exhale, and oh my gosh, okay. I was literally sitting here thinking, like, please, why isn't our mom saving us? The wood exhales in a great gasp, and with a stride towards us, and a swipe of the claws lengthening from her hand. Elise? No! She's already falling as she tries to bring her hand to the gouge Mother carved into her neck. Let's go! Let's go! I hate that I'm happy about that. I move to try and catch her. The joint that connects my wings to my body screams, and this time I hear some internal part of me squelch against the crossbow bolt pierced through it. I jerk against it again, though, trying to stretch my hand to Elise. If I'm free of this bolt, I can use my magic again. I can save her. Devastation, it turns out, feels a lot like a wing being ripped from my back. Through the keening in my ears, the sound of it is almost like ripping fabric, every determined pull to peel flesh from flesh and tendon from meat. It doesn't come off all the way. The mangled weight of it slumps from me, pulling me down sideways as I fall towards Elise and... Morgaine! Oh, she looks a little different. She has something different with her hair today. You killed my sister, Elise! All the hundreds of humans you've killed, and you had to have my sister. If Mother weren't right in front of me, I don't think I would see it for the pain. The first bolt takes her in the thigh, but that doesn't even stop her. She lunges from Kriemhild like she did at Elise, and the second bolt tears through her chest. Something twinges in my breast. Maybe sympathy. She's finally feeling the same hurt as me. Oh my gosh, she just doesn't stop. Chill, chill. Her hands even go to try and pull it out as she slowly sinks to her knees. It's not until the cushioned thud of her legs hitting the ground that a dark shape which can only be Kriemhild moves closer to me. Hey, Elise? Mother is gasping something out, even now, although I think it's the Kriemhild. Coming all the way here to save her hopeless daughter, and then only having words for her would-be murderer. I guess she and Kriemhild speak violence better than me, though. At least we're gonna die in this grove, right? Oh, stop. We won't ever have to wonder what happened to the other. It's us, in this place, right until the end. Oddly, I don't feel it when Mother dies. Or maybe she hasn't yet, when the sawing noise starts. I feel my face pressed to the sweet-smelling red and white flowers it's falling against, until I hear the crack of her horn breaking loose, until I hear Kriemhild exhale and make a sound that's barely anything at all. Something that withers and dies halfway out of her throat, and then her footsteps turning and running away. Heaving myself through the flowers separating us, I make it to where Elise fell. Blood is still pouring from her neck, but she's as drenched in it already as Dahlia was. Yeah, I guess karma, you know. She tries to say something to me, but it's alright. I know. I think I mean that I'm content with this. Let whatever is left of the folk find their leader and her daughter dead at the edge of the wood, with a human girl lying between them. Let whatever history comes from it guess to this moment however it will. I shift onto my side to press Elise's body to mine, before I close my eyes and... Through the all-consuming pain from my crippled wing, a small pressure on my hip lights through. That's right, I have all my gathering supplies with me. The same supplies I had on me at the revel, and whose flowers that I had just dragged myself through, whose petals scraped all over me, red and white. It's like they bloomed as soon as I was free from the crossbow bolt, when my magic was unblocked and my hands cushioned my fall. Hold on just a little longer, Elise. I roll onto my back, nearly screaming when the half stump of my wing folds, even more unnaturally over itself. But a scream might draw Kriemhild back to finish the job she thinks is already done. My hand rummages through all the pouches and pockets at my hip, long enough for me to think maybe I just made a prayer out of some stray pebble, when I feel the tempered glass of my vials. What did Mother do next as she hovered over Dahlia? I brushed as many anemone petals from my clothes into my other hand as I can, mashing them between my blood-soaked fingers, half the pulpy powder it creates into one vial, half into the other. At least there's no shortage of blood. And yet, some repulsion still stops me when I know what has to come next. When I take the vial from the weakening trickle from Elise's neck and I try to bring it to my mouth. Mother was right about this magic. I barely know what I'm doing, and it feels uglier than anything else I've worked. Elise and Kriemhild's sobs playing amplified in my head, while I picture the pale arch of her throat opening beneath Mother's claws over and over again. I press a kiss to her wound first, then turn her head enough to kiss her properly. I think she tries to help me. No shortage of blood. You're so wrong, but so right for that. There, now history's made puppets of us both. And I choke her blood down as I feel her heartbeat start to fade. It feels like a block of ice melting in my core, the incessant agony of my wing reaching a new level of fever pitch, only dwarfed by the growing cold as Elise's little remaining life flashing through me. I writhe in the ruins of our garden, my back arching as I try to find any way of easing the pain. This time, someone fails not to cry out, though I'm beyond telling whether it's me or Elise making one last grasp at towards life. Either way, when I bring my blood to my lips, she knows what to do. The connection between us snaps tight. I'm responsible for it. I have to be. I keep looking over at your message, Dr. Myers. It's so funny. I have to be. And I had to breathe for both of us, to guide her suddenly, violently shuddering body to somewhere a little less close to death. Her breathing picks back up, a moment of her lungs working double overtime. Her eyes flutter shut and her head lolls against the grass with a laughing gentleness. But I've done it, and I can feel her like I've opened up her chest and put my beating heart right beside hers. She's only asleep. Oh, get it? That's the name of the visual novel. I don't know why my brain. I just went all full like I almost said Peppa Pig, Porky Pig. I went full Porky Pig trying to say that. If I was asked how I would even tell our story, once upon a time No, that just feels wrong. I've tried to not think too long on it for a long time. Well, at least perhaps I should start with right after. It's never felt right hiding you away in the bedroom I never use. But it was the only place that I could in those first days, where none of the folk would dare to go looking for answers or vengeance. Will I ever stop being strange? Thinking of myself as the last of the folk, even if it was a choice of mine to wear that mantle. The rest of us departed for parts unknown to me, at least. I asked Dahlia not to tell me, so that I wouldn't be tempted to follow. I think because we owed each other a debt, she didn't question my reasoning. It's for the better that someone stayed behind anyhow. Too much old magic sunken into the trees, and when it gets its hands on you, humans, all sorts of odd things can happen with a custodian for it. All those refugees who came from the south last month might be putting down roots here. It's a whole standing village, after all. I can't say it won't be strange, watching the lungs breathe again. There's a child among them, a year or two younger than we were when we met, I would say. She seeks me out. I can't say I don't appreciate her company. I think she's trying to put in good words for me with the rest of her people. Ah, the optimism of youth. I'd forgotten how it felt. Do you even hear me at all when I go on and on to you like this? I remember something Dahlia told me about while she was under the sleeping spell, that she wasn't quite there in the way that you feel time when you're awake, but anyone who talked around or to her were the intervals of dreams. And yes, there's some significance to the date today. 56 years since that sister of yours took the human throne in the north. 56 years? That's how long she's kept Elisa's body? Like, I know, like, okay, saying her body, she's still, like, technically alive, but it's like, what? I don't know if maybe Mother's Horn did hold some magic that's extended her lifespan this long, or if she's just that lucky. Or unlucky, perhaps. I felt every one of the years since that night in the grove. I have to wonder how she does. Whatever my mother's final curse to her was. I'm sorry for a lot of things about this. Elise, another year when I thought I'd have woken you up by now. But for as long as Kriemhild is alive and on the throne, she has to think that we both died with Mother. If she ever heard word that I remained, or that you were by my side, besides that child, have you ever heard what she calls me? A guardian. And what kind of guardian would let her charges be trampled on by some princess retrieval squadron, sent by the infamous Queen Kriemhild? And I'm sorry that I haven't touched you in all these years. It's not how I want to think of you, holding your limp hand or leaning over lips that barely even pass breath between them. Is knowing that I've always been here standing watch enough? One day, Elise, soon, I can feel it. When the world that the cruelty of my careless love made you, hoped for, has finally taken shape. When that last reminder of the boundaries dividing folk and humanity is no more than a faint memory, and all that we are is Morgaine and Elise. I couldn't stand to hurt you anymore, by bringing you back before then. I once thought, like all the folk, that we don't dream how humans do, but that's what I picture every time my mind wanders, or just when I close my eyes like now. I don't desire for anything more than to laugh with you and feel the flowers again, and sing nothing but songs of love that don't end in despair. I'm sorry, Elise, but can you sleep for just a few more days? Can you sleep and dream of all my love? On wings, bringing sleep. Created by Studio Nekumata for Studio Lane Dandelion Variety Game Jam. Story by Rosecrowned. Art by Takuma. Direction by Lexi. Programming by Theo. Wait, oh, Theo did this? Oh, nice. And Lexi, let's go. Faye Consultation by Faye Rico. Music by Cam. Oh, I am so bad with names. Kamaboko Sachiko. Kinjao. Haruto Ashiba. Shimotone and Maya Koko. Sound effects by David Bain. Ego Massive. Arteru Momo, Kink Bleed, and Razem. Oh, Q's. I hate Q's. Quadro, Vero Menagerie, and Rakuma. Backgrounds by... Also, backgrounds of this were so... I love the little juxtaposition in the chat going on right now with the with the sad mouse and then the clapping. I love... What's wrong? Guys, come on, what's wrong? What's wrong? Thank you for reading this tragic tale. We hope to one day return to Morgane and Elise to tell even more of their story, but until then, sleep well. Sad clapping. Guys, mouse, don't get... Wait. Sorry, oh, you're so right. Hang on, wait. That is one of Rat's pensive emotes. I'm so sorry. No one send this to her. No one let her know. Oh. Listen, as long as they don't know, nothing bad happened, okay? Hang on, let me appear back in. We only have a few minutes for this because I really need to be going in like 3 or 4 minutes. Also, whoa, I just closed the game and it just opened itself back up. That was, wait, hang on, that was so weird. Mausukare? Exactly, Mausukare. Listen, they're a huge fan of mice. I know that for a fact. Big fan. Wouldn't mind. But yeah, no, guys, what's the issue? Why are we sad clapping? That was such a happy and wholesome ending. Morgane and Elise got to live together for 56 years. They were together. Is that a threat? Don't point that gun at me. They got to live together for 56 whole years. Isn't that crazy? They got their happy ending. I don't know what else like we honestly could have expected. Like, sure, maybe it could have ended with like none of like the bloodshed and being trapped into like a spell for 56 years, but it's like, I don't know, they were kind of asking for it, I guess. I don't know what else to say. Kind of brought it upon themselves. Like, dog, if I fell in love with the girl and then I tried to dismember her, valid, you know? I think her mom ripping out my throat and then being capped under a spell for 56 years is a valid response. OWBS is the darkest of the... Oh, not even close. It's so not even close. Like, I talked about at the beginning of this, but like, with the other 3, I was laughing. Like, I was laughing so hard, I was like crying for most of it because like how hard I was laughing. Here, it's just depressing and dark and dour, and I am so here for it. I love dark fantasy. It's just such a vibe, man. It's just such a vibe. Like, I'm sitting there like, yeah, you know, the ending is a little sad, I guess, but I'm like, oh, but it's so good though. It's so good though. Like, there was like a part like an hour and a half-ish into the stream where I was like, I feel like I haven't said anything outside of just reading this, but that's just like I got so invested in seeing where everything was going and in like the world and the characters and everything. I'm like, I didn't even, like, part of my brain genuinely forgot that I was streaming and not just reading the stuff out loud. That's how, like, invested into the plot I got. It's so good. And, like, I kind of like the same takeaway, like, I got from, like, all of the other, like, Game Jam games is, I want more of this. I need more. Like, that, like, little thing at the end of being like, haha, the Morgane and Elise will return in the Avengers. Like, that, like, little thing at the end of the credits. I'm like, yes, please. I need another thing, even if it's not necessarily about them directly. I want more of this like world. I want more of like, if the characters do come back, I want more of these characters. Like, that's how I feel about all of these, and this one does that so much too. I just want more. Like, part of me was just saying that like, I'm okay with this being the ending, but like if the story just kept going, I also wouldn't complain. You know, I'd be so down to stream this for another couple hours if there was more. And that's like, again, it's just like a showing of like the quality that I'm perfectly satisfied with how the story went, but I'm also dying for more. I want so much more of all of these projects. They're all so good. Hang on, I just gotta send a little message really quick. But yeah, no, I don't know. I love how like a lot of the like it was like semi-dark throughout. You know who else is dying for more? The entire cast of the game. As they should be, because they cooked so hard. Listen. Listen, it makes me happy to hear that they all want it too. If everyone on the cast wants it, that only increases the chances of us getting more of this. You know what I mean? If they want it and we want it, then there's no reason why we shouldn't get it. You know what I mean? So that makes me so happy to hear. Cause I'm just sitting there like, I know, again, like, I feel like the world that they made is so, like, it's the same thing with, like, not on Wings Bring Sleep, but Upward Rain, where there's so much to this world that gets so naturally introduced, but we don't get to see, like, all of it being explored, that I'm just sitting there like, man, you know what could fix that? Another visual novel. We could explore this world and this setting so much more and get way more stories out of it, because, again, I'm such a dark fantasy fan. We just need so much more, especially with like the more of like the magical side of things, like with this or like Without a Voice. Like there's such like, I was gonna say good vibes. I don't think most people describe them as good vibes, but I love the vibes of dark fantasy so much. So it's just like, like with it not getting like super dark up until like the ending there, it had like a constant like layering of like unease throughout, and I think the music was like a huge part of that, of like how there were like pretty consistently like two different tracks playing at the same time, which the entire time just made me feel like off and uneasy. And so it was like like, especially when it was like playing like certain parts of like whenever our conversations with Elise would like start coming to an end, suddenly there's two tracks playing at the same time, making my brain feel all weird. I'm like, oh no, I don't like the feelings that this is giving me, but I also love the feelings. This is making me feel so like tense over wherever this relationship is going to go. Like, Dr. Mice can attest to this, that like the whole time I was just thinking like, all right, when's Elise gonna stab us? She has the knife, when's she gonna put it in us? You know what I mean? Like, when is she going to stab us? That's all I was thinking the entire time, until like an hour in, I was saying like, okay, but like, what if she doesn't? What if like the dark part of this like fantasy comes where we're at the revel and she gets exposed for being a human, and then maybe the fairies just like rip her apart or whatever, like something like that. I was so invested in it and trying to like predict everything, but it was all like building so well that I couldn't see exactly where it was going the whole time. Like I predicted where the story was going, but the story was open enough, it had me like thinking a lot of like how other directions that it could go in to keep me guessing. And that was like, she wanted to stab us with love. She stabbed us. That's the name of her knife, love. When is she gonna put it in us? You know, yep, that works. Yeah, I feel like, you know, to be fair, even in context, it's not much better. I feel like context doesn't help a lot, considering I'm at thinking going, when's she gonna stab us? You know? So with or without context, it doesn't change it a lot, I feel. But I was so tense and on edge the entire time because of all that. So again, like, even like at the end there where I was like, we're totally just going into an ambush right now. Like, I called it. I predicted what was going to happen. But then the story was like slowly lulling me into a false sense of security of like, maybe Elise will give us love that isn't her knife. You know, maybe she'll be like, hey, dog, we can be okay, or something. Or like leave just more amicably, be like, hey, like, I'm not gonna kill you, I'm gonna head out. Like, my brain was like hoping for that ending for them, and then as soon as we got shot, it's like, oh no, I was so right, but the story almost got me to think that we weren't gonna die here. Granted, to be fair, we didn't die. We just lived on to hoard a body for the next 56 years, as if anyone, Also, what if I told you spent this whole stream saying her name wrong? I would say you're right. Like, dog, outside of... no, there's not a single name in here I had any confidence saying. But like the way like my brain works is like, listen, until someone corrects me, I will say it wrong. You know what I mean? Don't worry, I said it wrong my whole stream too, but differently. Oh wait, how did you say it? But like, no, like with every character's name, I was like, I'm gonna keep saying it this way until I'm corrected, and if that doesn't happen, well, that's her name now. You know what I mean? So it's the same with like Kremhild or like Mav or like every character. I'm like, to be fair, the only character I had like confidence in saying the name was Dahlia, because like my brain gets that name. You know what I mean? I understand that one. But all the other names, I'm like, I don't know, I'll throw my hat into the ring. It's the same way when I read, like, anything, is like, there's probably a proper right way of saying this, but I don't know what it is. My dyslexia read isle, like an island, not Alsay. Is that how you pronounce her name, is Alsay? So were you reading it like Isle the whole time and it's pronounced Alsay? Because I was also like struggling with like how, because that's how also how I read it, of like, you know, the capital I-L-S-E, but I was like, I don't think it'd be Isle, so I'm going to try and put those things together, and then like those letters together in a way that makes sense in my brain, and Ilse was like the closest, or Elise. I think I switched between Ilse and Elise the whole time, and that's like how I was like, you know, that makes sense. I'll say like an ill person and say, oh, Ilse, not I'll say. That makes 1000% more sense considering that's how you spelled it. But yeah, okay, I do appreciate that, because I do like to know how to say things properly, but it's just not one of those things that like weighs on my mind if I'm wrong. I'm like so open, like, you know, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Who cares? Whatever. You know? So that is good to know. Also good to know that I'm not the only one who said it wrong. I'll take that. But sadly, I do really need to go. I want to talk about this so much more. I want to, but I do need to be going now because I do have a work thing to be getting to. So let's go ahead and just see who's live right now. Is anyone doing any Studio Alon stuff? Hang on. Let me pull this stuff up. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Let me just go like do. Oh, no, never mind. Oh, wait, hang on. Let me look at this. I just, like, typed in the thing, because, I'll say, like, I'm, like, bad. No, I'm not finding anyone. You know, I'm just gonna look over here, because no one I'm following is also live. So let's go to... What are you guys in the mood for? You want some Super Mario? Want some Mario? Hey, maybe you know... I feel a little bad about this, but I'm getting another call about the work thing, so I do need to go. I think I'm just going to end the stream there without doing the raid, just so I don't have to worry about it. Thank you guys all so much for coming out. Sorry for the abrupt ending. I appreciate everyone, and I hope you have a great rest of your nights. So, yeah, sorry, but I'm getting another call about it. Sorry. Bye-bye. Have a great night.